Attention, please. The date today is February 22nd, 2016. The time is 5:30 p.m. This is the meeting of the Paris City Council. I'm going to call the meeting to order. We will start as usual with the invocation by Mr. Anderson, followed by Pledge of Allegiance by Ms. Lancaster. If I can have everyone stand.
May we pray? Heavenly Father, we do glorify your name because of who you are and all that you've done for us. Father, we pray for our meeting tonight that you would guide and direct it, and that, Father, your will would be done. We thank you, Father, for everybody that's here, the council who serves, the staff who serves, and the public, Father, who it's their city, and we thank you for their interest in all that goes on here. We just pray and ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 4 is the Citizens Forum. Persons desiring to address the council must limit their presentation to no more than 2 minutes. Unless an item is posted on the agenda, the Texas Open Meetings Act prohibits the council from responding to any comments other than to refer the matter to a future agenda, to an existing policy, or to a staff person with specific factual information. Claims against the city, council member, or employees, as well as individual personnel appeals, are not appropriate for the Citizens Forum. The Citizens Forum is now open. If you want to address, please come forward, write your name and address for the record.
Good evening, distinguished members. I come before you tonight with concern about the curb and gutter situation here, which is item 12 here on the list.
Sir, your name and address, please.
My name is Gary Dillard. I reside at 1030 East Tudor here in Paris. I was aware that there was some work being done around town, and I had inquired previously about how you get that done. And I was told if there wasn't existing curb and gutter that, it would be at the homeowner's expense. So I don't know what the policy is now for getting that work done, but I would like to go on record for my residents and my neighbors as well about trying to receive some curb and gutter and driveway interest, if y'all will. Also, I have an issue with the fire hydrant that's on the corner of 10th Northeast and Tudor. We had called, initially I called Paris PD, and then of course I called the city. They sent some guys out to look at it, and they kind of poked and prodded around and said they would be back to either repair it or replace it or what have you. And that's been, I don't know, maybe a couple months ago, and we hadn't had anything done on that yet. And I inquired around town with some people, and Mr. Jenkins in particular, and he insisted I come up here and speak before you guys. So I just want to be able to go on record and see if I can get some assistance in getting that addressed and hopefully get it fixed, if you will. But other than that, that's all I have tonight.
Sir, if you could give that gentleman right there your name and number, and he can contact you tomorrow.
Anybody else wanting to address the council? If there's nobody else wanting to address the council, the Citizens Forum is now closed. We'll move to the next agenda item, which is 4B, which is proclamation designating the week of February 20 to 27th as the National FFA Week. Whereas FFA and agriculture education provide a strong foundation for the youth of America and the future of the food, fiber, and natural resources system, FFA promotes premier leadership, personal growth, and career success among its members. Agricultural education and FFA ensure a steady supply of young professionals to meet the growing needs in the science, business, and technology of agriculture. Whereas the FFA motto, learning to do things, to learn, earning to live, living to serve, gives direction of purpose to these students who take an active role in succeeding in agricultural education. FFA promotes citizenship, volunteerism, patriotism, and cooperation. Now, therefore, I, Mayor A.J. Hashmi, on behalf of the City of Paris, hereby designate the week of February 20th through 27, 2016 as FFA week. Janice, who's coming to receive?
Mr. Tucker.
Is Mr. Tucker here? What did you break now?
I was just trying to get it to snap back. I did.
All right. Next item is the consent agenda. Any of the council members have any issues on the consent agenda? Mr. Pickle?
No, sir.
Mr. Frierson?
No.
Dr. Clifford?
No, sir.
Mr. Plata?
No.
Mr. Jenkins?
No, sir.
Now, I won't forget Ms. Lancaster.
No, sir.
All right. I need a motion on this item.
So moved.
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No, item carries. Moving on to the regular agenda, item number 13, conduct the second public hearing on an ordinance disannexing 2 tracts of land, each being a 5.025 acre land located in the Wesley Askin survey, number 7 being lots 14 and 16 of Wildwood Estates subdivision, according to the plat of such edition recorded in envelope 321A, Lamar County Plat Records. The public hearing is now open. Anyone wanting to address for or against, please come forward, state your name and write your address for the record. If there's nobody wanting to speak for or against, the public hearing is closed. Do we take a motion on this, or we need one more, or are we done with this?
We can address the ordinance in the next meeting in March.
Okay. And that pertains to,
This,
Okay.
this particular
Yeah.
disannexation, these 2 tracts.
all right. Next item is item number 14, receive public input, discuss and act on a resolution in support. Well, there are 2 of them. One of them was requested, which one is Brownstone? Excuse me. Okay, all right. So receive a public input, discuss and act on a resolution in support of Brownstone Group, Inc., application to the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs, TDHCA, and development of Paris Senior Village to be located at the southeast corner of Sunrise and 42nd Northeast. So first of all, I'll need a motion to remove this, untable this item, please.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
This item was placed by Mr. Pickle, correct? Or is the next item placed by?
Well, the next one's the one that we tabled, we tabled them both, I guess.
No.
No.
No,
You tabled
Next
this
one you
one.
just brought back.
just brought back, okay.
So this item is not yours?
Okay, I think it's, correct, yes, sir.
Okay. All right, well, city manager.
Actually, it is, he forgot.
Okay, well, I tabled it, but it was because.
Yeah,
we
this
want-
one was tabled last time by the council so that they could discuss this one and the one Mr. Pickle wanted to bring back at the
Right.
same time. And that's what
Right.
these 2 items
So,
are. And in fact, along those lines, I'm going to pull up a map showing you where those 2 are, as well as where the one that was from a month ago that was rejected by the council.
Just a quick reminder, if you are to put an item on the agenda, we had decided you have to put something on the green sheet.
On the what?
On the green
Green
sheet,
sheet.
when any of our council members are putting items on the agenda, you have to write something out and leave it for other council members to read. Just a reminder.
Oh, well, okay, but it was just, all we were doing was,
Whatever,
But-
this is
okay,
just a
but-
reminder,
okay,
no big deal. All right.
And this particular property is this one here. And this was for apartments, senior, 55 plus, that's not all that senior anymore. And there are representatives of that company here. There he is, I lost him, I'm sorry.
How are you doing tonight? So we're back 2 weeks later. Yeah, so we have Paris Senior Village in this 5 to 6 acre tract, and we have a PowerPoint on it. I don't know if you can pull that up at all, but if you'd like, we have some pictures that you guys could see about what we're trying to do, the types of product. We've given you handouts. Basically, our particular product, like we mentioned last time, is Section 8 housing. It's not something that you're kind of familiar with from like the 1960s or the 1950s. It's actually less dense. The apartments actually look a little bit more luxury apartments than they do affordable housing, even though this is an affordable housing program that's sponsored by the federal government and kind of proctored through the state. That's what Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs is all about. We kind of went into depth as to how you go after those credits. There's other developers here. There's developers in every region trying to do that. Right now, as it stands in this particular region, Paris probably won't get a deal this year, and that's because White House, like we mentioned 2 weeks ago, White House is actually the front runner in this region for a particular affordable housing deal. So we're here just basically requesting a support resolution from you just in case this particular item comes up later with TDHCA and we're actually in the running. So in other words, there's a lot of different hoops that you could actually jump through after approving this that wouldn't allow this to go through. We're basically just saying, hey, if you like the idea of senior housing, if you have a need for senior housing and you have a need for a really great product, which is what we can bring you in that particular area, then you could support our deal this evening. And then as we move forward, there's going to be opportunities for us to talk about infrastructure, talk about zoning, talk about other things too. So this is kind of one small step in the application process. And the deadline for us to put an application in is March 1st. And that's kind of our last opportunity now to try and move this forward this year in case it actually does happen. So I think most of the other developers here tonight will probably address the same thing. But one thing that's different about our product is that it's for seniors. Like John was saying earlier, it's for 55 and older. It's not a family deal. It's not going to be one of those deals where there's a ton of kids running around or anything like that. It's actually going to be for active seniors or retired veterans or retired seniors. Some of them are going to be driving cars, some of them won't be. And like I said, if we had pictures of whatever, I don't know if we had.
Yeah,
it's up.
there's pictures. These are yours,
Well,
aren't they? But
nope, they're mine.
I have a fistful of.
It's a black zip drive. Mine's a green one, because I didn't have any maroon ones. But as you guys, I think you have handouts up here, the city council members. Maybe the audience could probably see a little bit more of the product, because I think that's going to give us a better illustration. That way, not everybody's alarmed as to what's actually possible. There they are.
There we go.
So if you shoot that PowerPoint up, what we're looking to do is we're trying to keep the integrity of the community in where we're looking to build. In other words, we're trying to do either single story or no higher than 2-story. And so the issue for us is trying to maintain, like I said, the integrity of the area. That way, everybody feels like they're basically not getting a 3-story or 4-story high-density apartment complex. If you can see some of our product, they typically look really, really nice. That's a particular senior deal that we did down in Houston. That would probably be the highest we would go. Those are some higher density product that we have. We wouldn't go that high in this particular situation. But as you can kind of see, it is a luxury type of apartment complex. The issue is that it's actually rent restricted based on people's income. And so I can kind of leave it open to questions now if you guys have any for me. I know we talked in depth, or my partner did last time. So do you guys have any questions for us at this time? I don't want to take up too much of your time because
I'll start with the council members and then I'll ask some of the people who are here, they spoke last time, and see what their opinion is. Mr. Pickle?
Well, and all these pictures are all brochure type, nice
pictures and all. But I went back and John, if you'll switch out jump drives, and I went to Google Earth and looked at some of these that have been done since 2007. And I've got them on the jump drive, and hopefully we can look at them. The thing that, Brownstone. If you'll go first to that San Gabriel Village, back here. Start number 1, for instance. These are all just straight off of Google Earth, so there's not any promotion from Brownstone or anything like that.
Right.
And I want people to be able to see that, and if you'll go to the next 2, 3, and 4, the thing that surprised me was that these things look better than the rest of the neighborhood that they were built around.
That's true.
And on every one of these, and if you can continue to go, I mean, this one was built in 2007, so it's 9 years old. If you want to see how it looks after they've been there for a while, I mean, these are the pictures that you can get off the internet. These aren't pictures from Brownstone or from anything else. These are simply off of Google Earth.
And this is probably, this next one, a better depiction of what we'd look to build. So it's
This one right here, this Thomas-
it's a one-story type of deal.
This Thomas Ninke, well,
Thomas
and the only problem with it was that you couldn't go down and look at it. But the thing that did catch my eye on these, wait, go back to that one for just a second, is that if you'll see adjacent to several of these, there's a white square, and what that is that's covered parking for these people. Yeah, thank you. And so these aren't just thrown together Section 8 type housing that then has been expressed as far as what the fear would be that they went here. And so, I mean, you can see that these are in probably what were pastures before, or at least undeveloped land that nobody really had an interest in, and that they've gone back and really dressed these things up and made it a good asset for the community. And I know you didn't know I was putting these on here.
No, that's great.
But
I mean, that's
I
exactly what the
wanted
program's about.
I wanted people to be able to see that these things aren't. I don't think this is what people were afraid of. And this project and the project that the next project on here, the thing that bugs me is I keep thinking that everybody's looking at it as it's low income housing, and it's not. It's affordable housing, and that we haven't had any housing constructed like this other than a couple of projects that, again, are in East Paris, but aren't really true affordable housing projects. And to me, what really ticked me off was I've been driving into West Paris the past off and on for years, but the past couple of months, I drive over there, and I don't know why it is, but you drive over into West Paris and you automatically pay 30 cents a gallon more for a gallon of gasoline than you do in East Paris. And so that these people, it's unfortunate that these people, they've got to pay a higher price if they live in West Paris to go to Walmart or to go to Kroger or to go to Brookshire's or anything like that. And I think that this is an opportunity, and not just for West Paris, but for people in East Paris too. And to be honest with you, we need senior housing. It took my mother 3 years to get moved up here because there wasn't housing for her. And she's been here for a year and a half now. And I think this is such a great opportunity for the community. I think it's something that we can be proud of. It's also going to increase our property tax revenues by roughly $250,000 a year. And at a time when we're really, as we saw before at the agenda item before this, we're de-annexing properties. So we're reducing our revenues as it is. And here's an opportunity for us possibly to to increase our property taxes. And the reason I only say possibly is because it's up to the state or the federal government to decide if we even get a shot at it. But I would hate to see us lose an opportunity.
Mr. Frierson?
I just
Mr.
want-
Pickle, I wish you would have submitted it beforehand, though.
Well, this is just off of Google Earth. I mean, anybody could get it.
Yeah, but if we are presenting it, it would be nice for all of us to see.
Well, I
it.
didn't really consider myself presenting it, but okay.
Mr. Frierson?
Well, I just want to go back and ask a couple questions that I asked last time, and a few different people in the crowd this time, so let's just kind of get this out on the table. First of all, this location was chosen not because you were dying to be in this location. This area, along with the item to follow, is predetermined by the state of Texas. Is that?
It's a high opportunity area because of the particular parameters that we're looking to score high in. And so when you go into an area in this program, you're looking for low poverty rates, you're looking for proximities to, grocery stores or, Walmarts or things like that. And you're also looking for, great education in terms of like school districts too. Now this is senior housing, there's not going to be a lot of kids, but they still keep that same rubric for senior housing. And so basically East Paris is better than West Paris in this program, so to speak. And so what's that?
As the guidelines, okay, as defined by.
As defined by the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs.
Again,
right?
not your opinion,
Not
but
my
as,
opinion.
okay,
Yeah, it's
just
not my opinion.
because that.
But in terms of
have a hard time getting out of here if you do
right,
that.
in terms of scoring, right? That's what they're telling us to do. Sorry, I didn't mean to, but
Yeah.
that's what they're telling us to do as developers. And so we just follow the program. And the cool thing about the program and what we try to do is we try to bring a great product to your city so that you can make money and that everybody feels good about it. So that's kind of the idea there.
Okay, and the investment itself, somewhere in the neighborhood of $10 million is the
That's
projection?
correct. Yeah, that's
Okay.
correct.
And this goes to Mr. Godwin, but these properties would not be eligible for tax abatement.
That's correct.
Okay, because one of the calls I got soon after the last meeting was that they understood this particular person didn't understand that facet that somehow this would be tax-free, but that's not the case. These taxes could not be abated by the city, right? Okay, so just so I know it was in the Paris News yesterday, but kind of what this amounts to is, if I'm just kind of speaking in parameters, depending on the location, you're looking at anywhere from $225,000 to $257,000 a year in taxes that you would have to pay on your development.
That's correct.
Yeah, okay. And Edwin kind of said that a little bit ago with the fact that we are de-annexing annexing property, and at some point we're going to be faced with some really hard choices. John's having his hands tied, though the reasons I understand can be viable, but we do have a responsibility to do what's best for everyone, and I guess we don't get many shots at a $10 million investment, and I don't want anybody to lose sight of really what that means. So I don't have any other questions at this point.
Dr. Clifford?
Yeah, I was just wondering, I'd have a lot easier time supporting this if I knew you met with the community members prior to bringing it here. Were there any, because this was a big surprise to a lot of people, and, there was an outcry from it. It's difficult to vote for something if the community doesn't clearly want it.
Of course.
But it looks good, and I was wondering, have you reached out to the community, or,
We're required to, and we're actually required to actually get community support letters from certain organizations, nonprofit organizations. So we're in the process of doing that now. Typically, they're community organizations that serve the area that we're going into. So the way this process works is until we get a city resolution that passes it, we don't really do the groundwork for all of that right away. So this is, like I said, there's a lot of steps to get through, but it's important to us that we have the city resolution. There's a public hearing on it, so we can get a feel for where everybody's at. And so at this point, all we've done is preliminarily reached out to public organizations that are actually part of this process.
okay, and this is a 9% project you're applying
That's
for?
correct. Yeah, it's not 4%, it's 9%. Mm-hmm.
Mr. Pilata?
I'm familiar with the senior development, because one happened over there at West Parish, close to me. But the only problem I have with this is, how many how many of these did you say were gonna go on that one property?
Right now, we're looking at 80 units, okay? And so what that means is that we could try and do within a 6-acre area with a new zoning change, anywhere from 1 story to 2 story, but no higher than that for that particular area. So at any given time, you might be looking at 80 tenants, right? But there could be less than that, there could be more than that, it just depends.
So you're talking about 80, but you're talking about if you build little duplexes, which is what's over there, are you talking about 40 of those going in?
Not necessarily 40, it really just depends on when we get to our site plan and we talk, and when we sit down with the zoning and planning department of Paris and we talk, and our architects sit down with them, and we decide what is in the best interest in terms of our acreage. That's what we would be building. So we're looking right now at all possibilities, and so whatever we think would maintain the integrity of the community around and everybody could approve on that, that's what we're looking to do.
Well, I don't mind it. It's real nice. And it's kept up nice. The only problem I have with this, when he told me that he was going to put 80 in there, that's what I have a problem with.
Okay.
It seems like it's going to be really, really packed in there, and that's what I have a problem with. Other than that, if people go look at that over there on West Washington, it's really nice, gated, and everything. People that live there really like it. And so
I think to answer your question, or maybe to put your mind at ease just a little bit, is that it's kind of a fluid process right now, and we're going to look for as much feedback as we can get. I would say that more than likely with that acreage, it's going to be a combination, right? And so if we can do most of the single story closer to the single story homes and maybe do a 2-story clubhouse or something further in the back, that's probably what we'll look for in our site plan. And so that's what we're working on right now.
and see, that's why I have a problem again. Senior citizens don't need a 2-story. They don't need to climb stairs. So myself, I think you need to cut down the amount to make it look right, like single family. In 2-story, I'm not.
I agree with you. And if when we look at the site plan and go through everything, we don't want to do elevators, we don't want to do 2-story, then we'll do that. So that's kind of what the fluid process is for us right now. So
you'll have elevators if it's 2-story?
it's required by the state.
Oh, you have elevators.
Yeah, you almost have to, and you always have to, and you have to account for that in your funding.
Well, that's something else.
Yeah, I didn't think you knew that.
It's required.
I already asked that question.
Yeah, affirmatively furthering fair housing requirements and laws, they always require elevators for seniors.
Mr. Jenkins?
I have no questions.
Ms. Lancaster?
I'm a little concerned that you didn't go to the community first. I mean, you might have had better understanding from the citizens if you had done that.
Well, that's a good point. And I think the way this was playing out in terms of the funding this year for this particular region is that a lot of focus was on the 5 deals that were going on in White House. They're only going to fund in this region 2 deals. More than likely, and I'm just being honest with you, more than likely, White House will probably get funded, and Paris, this particular deal may not happen this year, just because of scoring and the way it's being put together. And that has a lot to do with tiebreakers. So there was a lot of focus early on White House, which is where some of us or some other developers have their properties already. And in the process of doing that, I think we heard, I want to say 6 weeks ago or whenever, 2 city council meetings ago, that there was quite a bit of uproar in terms of just the regular family deals going in east of town. And so from our perspective, it was kind of like more of like a risk analysis saying, okay, well, we already know a little bit about what the feeling is right now. We'll go and see where we stand 2 weeks ago when we found out, and now we're back again because it was tabled. So does that help a little bit?
Well, I still am concerned that the citizens weren't considered first.
Well, like I said, as far as the process is concerned, we reach out to community organizations, churches. We get a feel from them if they're in support with their constituents, and then also nonprofit organizations as well.
Who have you reached out to?
I have a list that I'd be happy to show you after. I don't have it. I don't know off the top of my head. So. but I could show you who we're reaching out to. We have a realtor and a broker that's actually working on that too. But until we get the resolution from the city, that's kind of how we generally feel, generally find what the support is from the city and the community as well. So,
Anything else, Ms. Lancaster?
Not at this moment.
First of all, thank you for coming.
You're
Number two, I'm happy that you consider our city for investment. I'm all for investment and nice clean areas in the city. However, as Dr. Clifford said, obviously I represent the opinion of the district that I'm voted for, and if they're not for it, then it doesn't matter to me how much ever the investment might be. As much as I might want to have it, but it really depends on the residents of the community of what they want and what they don't want. So I'm personally satisfied with it, but I'm going to ask the people who talked last time to be able to come up and say what they want to say. If everybody feels that after seeing your presentation and Mr. Pickles' slides that their mind has changed and that they are interested in it, then I personally have no problem with it. If, however, they're still opposed to it, then I have concerns. There is two concerns above and beyond that I do have. One was a concern that there was something mentioned about traffic in that area, if that has been looked into or not. And number two, the other concern that I have is that yes, the investment is very good, the area is beautiful, and it's good to have adult housing. But what does it do on a citywide basis to homeowners who have rented properties to other senior citizens? Does it affect their property values? By building this, are we going to end up with a lot of empty homes which are currently occupied or not? Because certainly the number of residents in the city has not grown. And so if we were seeing a major influx of people, then I can understand that, okay, well, that's the case. But if that is not the case, then is it just going to be movement from one home into another home, into a better area, and what does it do to the homes that they have left? So with that said, I do want to ask some of the community members who have talked last time if they can tell us if they feel any different.
thank you.
So anybody from the community who lives in that area, do they want to address the council, what their feeling is about it?
I'm Lynn Wells, and I live at 365 Southeast 42nd. And I don't care whether you have to earn $200,000 to live in the apartments. The issue to me is traffic. And it's bad now. Where do you think the traffic's going to go? I don't understand why. I understand why they want to build it there and it's not that the state tells them where they can build, but if they don't build there, they won't get as many points. So it's not, the state's not saying you can't build in West Paris. They're just unlikely to get the project. But aside from, they're nice. I don't have a problem with that. I would say we probably do need nice senior housing. The idea that not many of them are going to drive, I think, is wrong. And have y'all been over there? Have you tried to drive through there? I don't know where they think the traffic's going to go. It's bad now. I think not enough has been. I don't think they care about the traffic because they're not going to be here. They're going to have made their money and gone. So. And then maybe I'm the only one that has it, but I have the whole drainage issue of the more concrete there is up there, the more of our land washes away. That's all.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Hoshmi, before we go any further, can I ask a question about that issue? Because I understand that's been brought up a lot with respect to the traffic. Mr. Godwin, what we're talking about tonight is the application itself, right? I mean, just the resolution to say,
Correct.
Yeah. So if this project were awarded, they would then have to go through planning and zoning, correct?
Correct.
At which time is that the point they would then address?
They would address drainage, they would address traffic, they would address all of those kinds of things, correct?
And they could not build until those requirements were satisfied for drainage and for traffic.
Correct. In this case, I think it also needs to be rezoned, and
Right.
P and Z and city council both can turn that down.
But I guess my point to that is while tonight is about a resolution, yes or no, there is a mechanism in place for anyone, not just for them, that would have to satisfy those requirements so as not to, I guess, interrupt life or put an undue burden on those residents that are there.
That's certainly the purpose of the process.
Okay,
yes.
I just wanted to make sure we got that out there.
And if I can ask you one other thing, supposing there is a traffic issue, there, will the city have to provide finances to resolve the traffic issue, or can it be laid back on them that new road construction or whatever needs to be done to avoid that kind of issue comes up?
In the old days, you could require the developer to add lanes or add roads. Back about 15 years ago, there was a significant lawsuit that's no longer allowed. So your options now would be to deny their zoning change request and then not build it at all, or else do it yourself. I would certainly recommend the former rather than the latter.
Say that again.
If it came to that, we should tell them no,
At
as
the
opposed to
time of-
us widen the road for them, because we've got plenty of other roads we need to do before that one, as far as building it for a developer that's not even here yet.
Which road are we talking about?
Any of them.
Well, we can't do 82. We can't. It's a state road.
Well, it's not on 80, it's not approaching on 82 anyway. It's basically, if you have to come out of that area, you'll have to come down either on Sunrise and then come down, make a right towards Pineville, or you'll have to make a left towards 42nd Street.
Right, okay. Well,
One of
either
the
way,
two.
it's 42nd
I'm sorry?
first. Either way, it's 42nd before you do anything else.
Yeah.
But it's not
Yeah.
actually, it's not going to come out at sunrise.
Wi-
It's going to come out before sunrise. There's a street before sunrise.
Yes, there is a street before that.
Enchanted or?
Enchanted goes to the left. On the right, I don't remember the street, but
Yeah.
there's a single house there on the right hand side. But I mean, I'll take Mr. Frierson's point on this, that irrespective of whether this is granted to them or not today, one still has the ability to deny it at the time of rezoning. Is
That's
that
correct.
correct? Or
That's
if we
correct.
give them a resolution, are we committed?
No, you're not committed to doing anything other than this gives them permission to proceed. The only thing I would say about that, and I'm not expressing a position in any direction here, just to be clear, but like always, my advice to you, if you're going to tell them no in 6 months, tell them no now. Because all that does is drag it out for them and also drag it out for your citizens. Now, you may not know what you'll do in 6 months, and that's fine. And hopefully you don't really, because it's not really fair for you to say for sure, I'm going to tell them no in 6 months when you haven't even seen what they're going to propose. But if you just think, it doesn't do them any favors by telling them yes, and then if you expect to tell them no later on, if I'm making any sense. But you can absolutely, you'll have at least a couple more chances to tell them no in the future if they get past the state level,
Well,
which
we
even
have
they don't
not-
think they will. So.
At this point, we have not studied traffic.
No,
And we have
no,
not,
and they haven't either to my knowledge.
and we have not studied drainage.
That's correct.
So to make a reasonable judgment would be wrong at this point, because you might say yes today, but once you've studied it, I mean, the project has not been studied enough to.
It may not be viable even when it gets to the process, absolutely.
And
We
so
just don't know.
I think to say that we are predetermined in our mind at this point that we will say no, I don't know. I mean,
How can you
what do
know?
other things?
How can you know?
You don't know. That's what I'm saying. So we don't know whether it is yes or no, because it is.
Well, but we all know really what we want as far as ease of traffic, drainage, things like that. But we don't know what they're offering.
And my concern would be, as she pointed out, traffic and drainage would be a concern. And if we end up spending hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars towards drainage for a property that we okayed, while other areas which are already there suffer, I don't think that's a reasonable thing. I personally don't have an objection to giving a resolution, but I do have an objection if this is done without studying, because if it's going to create a drainage problem and a traffic problem, then I'm absolutely against it.
Right, which at that point would be the time you would say no, because then you'd have the facts, right? I mean,
Correct.
To me.
And quite possible it could offer a solution for some of the at least the drainage going forward.
Even for drainage, they will not participate. You can forget the road part.
They would be required to do on-site improvements for drainage, and that would include perhaps building a retention or a detention pond, concrete channelization, different kinds of things. They're required by state law not to allow water to leave the property at a higher rate than it leaves now. So the state law requires basically that they don't affect the neighboring property. So it could improve the neighboring property. If it's done right, it won't affect the neighboring property. And that's easier said than done in the real world, especially if you already have problems downstream. But anyway, to answer your question more specifically, yes, they can be required to do drainage improvements on site, on whatever property they acquire, if any.
And the other question that I have is that the roads that they'll develop within that property, is the city eventually going to be responsible for those roads? Because
No, those would all be private roads on private property. We would accept no additional pavement for us to maintain.
Okay.
And that's it on all those Google maps that I showed. That's why I couldn't go down the drives to show what they look like in the front. It's because Google Earth won't go on private property.
Now, I still see some people who are sitting over here who live right there. You're one of them. What is your feeling? Yeah? Yes, please. And Mr. Coles, you can follow.
Thanks for hearing me out. I have concerns because this property actually is not at the corner of 42nd and Sunrise. That's a misnomer in the statement anyway. This is Sunrise, is that little street that you see runs east and west. That property is behind housing that's already there, right behind their gate. And then the west side of that property there's a drainage ditch. It's very poorly maintained, very poorly built by the developers in Sunrise Division, about 2 inches worth of concrete. It's all cracked. It's terrible. The city's worked on trying to improve what was not done right there to begin with. I have questions. The questions I have are once before this council, several councils ago, back when Stephen Brown sat on the council, Rhonda Rogers, this area encompasses, now that I finally see where it's at, and it's the first I've known exactly where it's at because I've driven over there and assumed that the property was going to go at the end of Sunrise there in that big vacant area and north of those power lines, the big power lines. This has the property running underneath those very high voltage power lines. There's obviously some concern of people living anywhere close to those because that's a vacant lot that goes off of 42nd Street on both ways underneath those power lines. Very, very, very high voltage. Once before, the former council, as I was speaking, had made a majority movement not to change the zoning for what I see is some of this property. It runs right directly behind my house. Matter of fact, if you follow that little dot there up to 42nd Street, that's going to be my house that I've lived in for 31 years and I'm very proud of. And I don't want to see the property devalued. It's worth about twice as much what I paid for it. And I would address this council, go back and look at that and make sure that that super majority vote did not encompass some of this very property that is included here, because to me it looks like it does. Now, I thank you very much, Ms. Lancaster, for looking out for the citizens' views. I thank, of course, my representative for the area, Mayor Hoshby. I do think these folks need to, put the horse before the cart. Let the people who are in the area know beforehand what you plan to do and how you plan to treat the property that is around property that people have owned for years and lived and raised their children and have their homes in. And the other questions I would like answered is, if we do not get these filled up with 55 and older folks, what then? Back to Mayor Hoshby's concern, if we've got rental properties now that these people are going to move into, is that going to leave those empty? And do we actually have enough 55 and older needing affordable housing that we need to build 80 here and more that we will be discussing in a moment on a later proposal. So if we don't fill them up with 55 and over, what do we do then? And I'm concerned about what the it's affordable housing, but what kind of income levels are we looking at in this kind of housing? Pictures look great, you know. If done and done right, I'm sure, you know, it would be a good investment for the city and a good tax, you know, revenue for the city and for, of course, North Lamar School Board, which I'm in that district also, and that's, you know, what's coming up with that. But I just would like for that to go back and look and see if that former city council's supermajority vote did not entail some of this very property on this end, especially behind my house, that we came before the council and addressed before. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Cole, do you want to?
My name is Ken Cole. I live at 3935 Brandon Place. That's in Morningside. I have a few questions. That one, who will be the owners of this property?
We're the developers of the owners, and we have a management company out of Dallas that takes care of it.
Will that management be on site?
Yes.
Okay. Next question, in the comment you just heard, is income-based. I looked around this room, and the majority of these people in this room would meet the 55 requirement. Now, what does that income-based mean?
Well, there's different breakdowns inside the income structure.
Can you please come to the mic and speak so that everybody can hear?
Again, I don't have the figures in front of me, but the income structure for the apartment units are typically ranging anywhere from 30% of the area median income to 40% to 60%. Dollar figures possibly could be anywhere from $15,000 a year up to $20,000 a year. They could be
You
market.
know about this?
Yeah, if you have it with you.
Go ahead.
So, and you're more familiar with. So basically, if one person is living in this particular property, it's going to be 30, and they're only making 30% of the area median income, then they would be, their income would be $11,000.
If they make $11,000 a year,
Mm-hmm.
a year, that's $900 a month.
That's correct. Yeah. And then if they're at 50%, that would be $18,350, and then at 60%, that would be $22,000 a year.
So if I make $20,000 a year, I wouldn't qualify.
No, if you did, you would qualify.
I would qualify.
Right.
At what level would I not qualify?
Well, you'd qualify at any level because we are doing market rate too. So if you basically made $100,000 a year, you could live there as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was the question. So
Mhm.
in other words, if it's income based, is that for rent? Or to qualify, or is your rent based upon your income?
Yes, it is based on.
Okay, so if somebody makes $100,000 a year.
Mr. Coles, can you come closer to the mic?
Yes, sir. Yes, I'm sorry. If somebody makes $100,000 a year, their rent would be, say, $800 a month. If somebody makes $20,000 a year, their rent would be $400.
That's the general idea.
Okay, thank you. And you said there would be a management on site with maintenance inside. Okay. Does the rent include utilities?
Typically it doesn't.
How about ground maintenance? Are there any add-ons for that on the rent? Okay, that's all I have. Ma'am. Thank you.
So let me ask you, since you're
Yes, sir.
standing here, what is your thought about it?
Well, I look around the room, sir, and I see everybody, most of the majority in here, and that includes me, because I'm over 55 last time I checked. I see the need for senior citizens housing because as the population in Paris is getting older. Now, again, I think that if this program is adequate, then I'm for additional housing. Yes, sir. So when I looked at this and I said, this was not that apartment complex. This is something different. Now, as long as it meets in the location, then I would be for additional senior citizen housing. Because first of all, you're not going to have, you're going to have cars, because 55, last time I checked, everybody's here driving still. And so that's a need, and the traffic is an issue. And so, but I would be for additional housing for seniors if it's properly located. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm not saying this is properly located, but for additional housing.
All right. Anybody else wants to have any comments? Dr. Mater?
Greg Motter. I live at 1535 Cope in Dr. Hashmi's district. And I was kind of trying to figure all this stuff out. I had a girlfriend once, she says, I didn't fall off the turnip truck yesterday. And so so where does all this come from? And so I pulled up this article. It says, Obama set to force affordable housing into affluent communities. He wants to diversify the neighborhoods in America. And his administration plans to force affluent communities to accept affordable housing. Not Section 8, such as Section 8. And so under the rules, the federal government gets to overrule zoning laws and basically implement their policies. And there's even a move in Congress to get this not to happen. As the president reaches the end of his second term, he's made clear that it's his top priority during his waning days to further his agenda by forcing big government programs on the American people. His new AFFH, that stands for, let me get this right, Affirmatively Furthering Fair Housing regulation, is one of the most far-reaching attempts to yet punish communities that don't submit to the president's ideology. American citizens and communities should be free to choose where they would like to live and not be subject to federal neighborhood engineering. And I brought that up last time. This is social engineering, taking your money, sending it to Washington, and then they get to decide what they do with your money. Overreaching federal government. So with all that, I'm trying to wrap around this. And some of us moved to a rural community to be in a rural community, me being one of them. And so putting 80 units, 80 cars in that area increases the density. And like someone's previously said, you're basically just moving people around Paris. The Paris News says Paris could become home to some new residents. Now, I don't know if we're generating people. We're really shifting people around. These aren't new coming in here. And so basically the North Lamar School District, you're going to shift kids from one school district to another school district, and you can just see the school buses coming out of there. We do know there's going to be some young kids in there. So, you know, and you use words, low poverty rates. So they've identified areas that are more affluent, and so they use the term low poverty rates. And I suspect all the council members live in areas of low poverty rates, but I don't see that this is going in any of those areas. So I would just like to make I'm just trying to clear things up a little bit. And as far as cheap gas goes, my wife knows I got Gas Buddy on my deal. I'll drive to Bonham if I can get cheap gas. So certainly they can drive to West Paris if they need cheap gas. Thank you.
Anyone else wants to voice their concerns or?
My name's Johnny Exum. I live at 4560 Pine Mill Road. And the thing that worries me, above the traffic, Pine Mill Road's loaded now. The drainage that comes down the hill from Cope Drive, and it comes east from the church up there on Pine Mill Road, and it all comes west and drains across the pasture behind this into that little creek back there. And I mean, it's already overloaded. When it rains, water backs up behind my shop right now. And the more we put in there, the more the water's gonna back up. But the drainage is my main concern. Well, that and I don't want no Section 8 housing in there. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Ann Dearborn, and I live at 4430 Pine Mill Road. And
Can you bring the mic a little closer? Thank you.
How's that better?
Yeah.
Okay. Someone touched on it a little earlier, but I'd like to expand that reason. I'm not in favor of any type housing being built there. We moved to a rural area. I sit on my patio with my coffee in the morning and I see horses. I really don't want to look out and see more concrete and more homes congested in that area. Thank you.
All right. Yes, please. If you can come to this.
I'm Cindy Alcorn, and I live at 870 Southeast 41st Street, which is one street west of 42nd, and I live on the south side of 82, so on the opposite side of where you're planning to build. However, when you say affordable housing, I think this is another one of those terms, another new term that just cloaks the old term and renames it. So we're still looking at HUD housing. We're looking at low-income housing, no matter which way you cut it, because it's federally funded. So that said, you're going to, have your managers come in from Dallas. Now, my husband and I have a few pieces of rental property in this town, and I deal with these programs day in and day out, and I enjoy it, and I will rent to anyone. However, I know what the impact this will have on the community based on my experience. And you just cited a minute ago that you're actually planning to build a 2-story. Did you not? That's in the works. It's in the works. It depends. Investors look at bottom lines, money. And you've got some investors who want to see a nice bottom line. That means the most that they can get for their dollar, which means 2-story, which means, and I agree with Benny Plata, who said, elderly people do not go upstairs. So you're required for an elevator. Okay. Well, not only, I don't like a 2-story project. I don't like a low-income project. You can call it whatever you want to call it. It's HUD. And once you get this, people that come in there, which I run into them all the time, I love them. But this is what's going to happen. And have you ever looked at Westgate, another low-income property that was built here? And people just are going to migrate. I agree again with the migration theory. It happens. And it hurts the people who keep their property up, who deal with these programs day in and day out. And this is just something that I don't want 2-story. I don't like drainage. I don't like traffic. And it's low income. Call it what you may. It's low income, federally funded. And people that make $100,000 or whatever, I don't see that they're going to want to move into there. I just don't. And the people that are all living there, they want their property to be, they want to look out and see a scenic backyard. They don't want to see concrete, poor drainage, flooding potentially. And I know you say you're going to address all that. That's always the best made plans. So I don't know, I just think that we need to have more information, and I think we need a call of hands from everybody out here who's representing the areas that this will impact, and see what the people out here, have to say by a call of hands. Dr. Hashmi.
Okay.
My name is Sharon Rennerson. I live in Paris in the city limits. I work here. I'm a senior citizen, I guess. I do go upstairs at my office. I have to ask one thing. Isn't the city council sued before for turning down projects for low-income persons in areas of town that people want to protect their property? And doesn't the city of Paris have a reputation for being racist? And that's what I'm hearing here tonight. That's what.
Ma'am, I'm going to stop you for just a second. None of the council members have said anything like that. So if that is the impression you're getting, that's not true.
The city council, but I'm just saying that prior to, there was a problem with the prior city council, and from what people are saying, I hear low income, I hear affordable housing, I hear poor black people. I don't have a problem. Excuse me, I'm talking. See?
Okay.
But I make good money. I don't mind. I wouldn't mind any kind of housing built around my neighborhood. I would not have a problem with this type of housing. But older people, senior citizens, a lot of people live on Social Security. You still have a right to live in a decent, affordable part of town. I don't have a problem with it.
Thank you, Ms. Reiner, sir. All right, I'm going to get back to the council if there's nobody else wanting to speak. Yes, sir. No, this is not your item. You know that. Okay.
My name's Kelly Garrett. I'm the owner of State Street Housing. I have the other project, but I think I have something to add to this, if I may, before my time comes up. And it concerns the location. And I'm not gonna sit here and second guess anything that Brownstone said, because everything he said was correct and true, except for the fact there will be a few children living in there, because you can have 2 people per bedroom. If when he pulls this up, I'll show you what I'm speaking of. It's going to be my point on this item. Ours is going to be you want me to talk about my deal now, or you want me to just talk about my location?
No, when your
I'm going to talk about
item
location.
comes up.
That's his location there. If you could click it one more time.
If you can please come close to the mic, please.
Can you click it one more time?
Can you move over? Is there more than, oh, here we go.
Okay, the red line is where the Brownstone project is proposed. The yellow line is where our project's going to be proposed. And this comes down to location. And I know he said it goes to the state level and the state decides this. And that's where I disagree on. There's a reason why TDHCA has this process of a resolution of support from the city council. It's to allow the council in the city to choose what they want and where they want it. Because one location may be better than the other one. We think our location's better, and that's why I put that piece of land under contract and not the piece of land in red, because the piece of land in red affects the neighborhood. There's 70 homes in that neighborhood, 17 of them which adjoin that property. And that property will have to be 2-story. And the location is not good. The pictures that Mr. Pickle showed earlier, there was one thing all those pictures had in common. None of them were next to a neighborhood. And that's why we think our location is better, and I wish you would consider that before you vote on the location, because when I get up to show you mine, which is the same as his, except ours is a family deal, but we also have seniors in our deal, and seniors live there, single moms live there, anybody that has disability lives there. That's what lives in a what's quote unquote family deal. It's about 30% seniors. That's what I have to add right now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I say?
Sure.
It was, those that I put on for Brownstone were in neighborhoods. I just didn't take the pictures of the houses on the other side of the street.
I'm sorry. Let me clarify that. Their driveways didn't open up to a neighborhood street like this one.
Oh, okay.
The only way to this property is through that neighborhood and down those neighborhood streets.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Coles?
I heard just something that bothers me. Are there going to be children in the neighborhood?
Not me.
Not me either. Mr. Pilata, you're the culprit tonight? Yeah.
Based on fair housing, there's nothing you can do if a child, for example, is living with their grandparents based on, state requirements, that you can't disallow the child to live with the grandparents. So there is a possibility. It's not to say that it's going to happen. There is a possibility that there could be a child living in that particular community. Yeah. But it's regulated.
Mr. Mayor, then I would like to make this suggestion. What I just heard saying there will be children living, I understood that this is going to be for seniors only. That was my understanding, and I would not vote for this.
Okay. Okay. Any of the council members have any further opinions on this matter? If not, I am going to just say one thing, and that is, people who are living in the city limits of Paris, if they can just, particularly in District 7, I want to see how many of them are here who like the project or who don't like the project. So how many of you like the project? Okay, how many of you do not like this project? Okay, thank you. How does the council want to proceed with it? Okay. Does anyone want to make a...
Can
Yeah,
you
sure.
go back to your question again? Were everyone that raised your hand that
Within the city limit of Paris
that
is
lived
what
within,
I...
okay, you did say that. Okay.
Yes, I did.
Are there any that live within the city limits of Paris that would like to see this? Or any? 1, 2. There you have it.
All right. Well, is anyone wanting to make a motion? Otherwise, I'll make the motion. I'll be the culprit here tonight. I like the project, quite honestly. However, I think the points of all the members of my district are excellent, and I think eventually it will boil down to the same facts that Ms. Wells pointed out, that there's issues with traffic, there are issues with drainage, and yes, we are not to that point, but I'm going to make a motion to not agree to this project. Do I have a second on this?
A second.
All?
Resolution, isn't it?
Yeah.
Resolution.
Well, not to accept the resolution, not to approve the resolution. I've made a motion, second. All in favor? So, Mr. Pickle,
Yeah.
all right.
7-0.
Did you raise your hands?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, 7-0.
Could I just state one thing for the record?
Sure, please.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you guys actually taking us through this process, because it's a learning process for everybody. And I love Paris. I've driven through it. I think it's a beautiful city. I think you guys are teed up for a really good chance next year to have this done in a location that you probably want it done in. And so for what it's worth, I appreciate your time. And we may be back next year. We don't know yet.
Could I say, this looks like a good project.
Right.
If you had gotten the community behind you and the community came in with you, it would have been a slam dunk. But it's difficult for us to go against the wishes of the community members on something like this. But it looks good. I bring it back next year and educate the community and see where we go with it.
That's great. Yeah, thanks so much. That we really appreciate
And
your
thank
time.
you so much for considering Paris, and I hope you consider it again.
We will. Thank you.
Thank you.
Russ, is this one yours?
All right. Item number, let me just see. We're on 15 now, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, item number 15 is receive public input, discuss and reconsider a resolution in support of GS Paris Family LP's application to the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs and the development of a new apartment complex located at 4800 Lamar Avenue. All
I
right.
brought this one back, by the way.
Yeah, so untable first?
Yes, sir.
This one doesn't need to be
Motion,
on table.
oh, it doesn't need untable, okay. All right. Who wants to speak?
Hope no one shoots me in the back while I'm standing up here. It's kind of hard to follow that. What did I say? Like I said before.
Can you just identify yourself?
Oh, I'm sorry.
please?
I'm Kelly Garrett, 7801 Jack Finney Boulevard, Greenville, Texas. Greenville Lions played a lot of ball against the Paris Wildcats. Yeah, Greenville.
Oh, crap. There we go.
Donald sitting over here. Anyway, where we're at on our, if you could, you still have my thumb drive there, Mr. Duke? That's some of our projects.
No, that's, well, the yours are on there too.
You want to show some of mine?
Yeah, if you want to.
Sure. They probably look just like his.
Well, that was but okay.
Is that you?
No, that's him. That's not me.
I thought you had something.
Well, I
you wanted
do.
to show.
Yeah, let me,
He's busy playing over there.
well, there's more than usual this time.
Yeah, that's it. In State Street, yeah.
Let me explain to you what that is. The one on the left here is a 250-unit project, and next door to that is a 72-unit senior deal that belongs to ours. That particular project's in Louisiana. We have properties from Lafayette, Louisiana, all the way to Lubbock, Texas. I've been a developer and general contractor for 25 years, and the reason we picked our other site is very obvious to me. I've never seen multifamily go in a single-family neighborhood that the only access is through the single-family neighborhood. If you know that's two of our properties there. This is to the right-hand side again is a senior facility. To the left-hand side is what's quote-unquote a family facility.
Which one is the family? The Vistas? Or
The Vistas on the left is a family, and the one on the right is the Havens, and that's a senior project. I should say property. People don't like the word project. Makes them think of Section 8. That's one of our properties in Lubbock, Texas. That's a family deal.
That was all I had. Sorry.
Okay. Anyway, our properties look a lot like theirs. They're a very good developer. We think we're a very good developer. They've been in the tax credit business 10 years. We've been in the tax credit business 10 years. I've personally been developing and general contract for 25 years. There's a few things that on our site location. The site that they picked was available when I first got to town, but I passed on that site immediately because it's in the neighborhood. I've been down this road before, and I don't know how many times, and I've never seen a site passed like that the only access is through the neighborhood. Our property is called a family property, but we also have seniors. Most of our family properties are almost 30% seniors, unless we have a senior deal right next door. As I said earlier, there's a reason TDHCA puts this process in here. It's so the city can determine what they want to support and what they don't want to support. Of course, I'm here now to ask you to support me, although he just got voted down. But our property has no neighborhoods around it. We're not going to affect anyone. You can go through those slides if you don't mind, Mr. Godwin. There's our site plan, for instance. Here's our site plan. We enter off of Lamar to the right there, and we're not even using our whole 5 acres. And you can see our project. We keep it to the front so we can have some open area in the back, which is all trees and natural. We like to keep that natural. There'll probably be a playground out there and probably a path and stuff like that, maybe a gazebo and a barbecue pits and stuff like that at the back. But our property on this location will require a traffic study. I want to bring that up because someone brought up traffic. We will be required a traffic study because we're on a state highway. And through our traffic study, the state will determine if we need ingress and egress lanes, which are get off and get on lanes on our side of the highway. If they do that, that is on us. We have to pay for that. The city does not pay for that. I'm not here to ask the city to pay for one thing. We'll pay full taxes, no abatement, full management, the same thing that Brownstone told you. But the only difference in our property is that it is a family deal in the location. And we will have seniors, we will have families, we will have single moms, we will have disabled people of all ages, not just 55 and over. They'll be from 20 on up. Everyone has to pass criminal background check. Everyone has to pass credit check. These are people that don't make what is considered a lot of money. You saw he told you some numbers a while ago. A family of four. A family of four makes about $31,000 under this program. So you can imagine a single mom with 2 kids working, trying to get by. Where's she going to live? And I heard something that upset me a while ago, and I normally don't get emotional about things, but when I hear somebody say those people, I always wonder, who are they talking about? They talking about me? Because I was raised by a single mom with 3 kids. This program wasn't around. We lived in a 700 square foot house on the other side of town, as everybody called it. So those people kind of offends me a little bit. But anyway, we think our site is a good location for Paris, and if you choose to support us, I greatly appreciate it, and we will be back. If you don't support us, we will be back, because this census tract is the census tract that scores the most points, and that's the bottom line. And the deal about White House, we have a deal in White House also. TDHCA may only recommend 1 deal in White House, probably not 2. The Brownstone Group's trying to get the state rep there to only give them a letter of support. If they do that, then they get the only deal, and then we'll get a deal in Paris. But probably the state rep's going to recommend support for all of them, and that's our next step here. If we were to get support tonight, we would go to the state rep and ask him for his support. Those are the 2 big scoring items. And I know it's early in the process, and it don't seem to think it's a big deal, but it is a big deal right now, because you get to pick a location if that's the one you want. I thank you for your time. I'll take any questions from the council.
Thank you very much. Mr. Lewis, you want to speak?
Okay. I do have a question.
Yes, sir.
You showed the pictures. It's going to be
Mr. Plata?
Don't lean back. Tell him. Yeah, you showed a picture. Are they going to be just single story, that you're going to be two and 3 stories?
No, sir. We're going to be multi-story, and his property would have to be multi-story too. This is a 5-acre tract with the same 80 units, and he was proposing 80 units, I think, on almost a 6-acre tract. So you can see you have to have some multi-story. We're going to be 3-story at the front and 2-story at the back. Our 3-story is going to be towards the highway. It's close to the highway. They're right behind what's labeled as a clubhouse. Because we can't fit single story on 5 acres.
Yeah, you can't.
No, if you did a single, like for instance, that neighborhood you're talking about a while ago, I've developed single family. I've done it all. I've developed all types of real estate. He's got 6 acres. That would be 30 homes if you put small lots in there. Put larger lots, it's going to be about 20 lots. And where he was putting 80 units in there. So they give you an idea.
But you'll have elevators go up to the 3rd floor?
No, sir. No elevators in this type. Elevators are only required in a senior project. So when our seniors move into our family deals, they all live on the 1st floor.
Oh. So you don't have to have elevators just for...
That's only for seniors.
Really?
Yes, sir. It's one of those crazy rules that they have down in Austin, and they have a lot of them.
All right.
Any other questions?
I want to ask one question. Is there anybody who lives right next to this property or not?
I can answer that. There's one house there.
They're right there. Do you have any comments?
Schmars. Mr. Schmars.
The back part of that property is right at the corner of mine. There's a big ditch goes all the way down, all the way to Reno District. You go with the concrete all the way back there, it's going to flood us. We can't even walk out there now in the back because this water's standing 2 foot deep out there right now. And I don't know where the water's going to go. That property runs downhill all the way, so all the water goes to the back, comes to me.
Okay.
And right there at the corner.
Can you address, please?
Can you pull my site plan back up again? Where the water crosses under...
Keep the mic towards yourself.
Where the water crosses under here, this is the area we're leaving right here at the bottom right-hand side for detention, and that will catch all the water that we create. We won't release any new water. We've already started our engineer studies and stuff on this anyway, so we will catch all the water that we create, so no more water will run off of our property than runs off of it right now. So anything coming from upstream or downstream, we will catch all of our water. What's happening out there right now, I have no control over that. But when this is engineered, it will catch all of its own water.
When you come across here, you got a big ditch all the way down right here. And you go right here, right where this is, right here. Where you gonna do that ditch?
We're gonna fill that ditch in.
All the way to Reno?
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. I'm not gonna stand here and argue with you. I pay engineers a lot of money to assure us that we don't put any more water off than's coming off right now. Whatever water's crossing that property right now, there won't be any more than what's there now. So
I've done dirt work all my life, and I know if you go across this creek, where's the water over here's gonna back up.
sir, I don't know where you're pointing at, where the creek is. Our water's gonna go right here. Does the water wind up right down here?
What blocks this creek? Where's that water gonna stop? Gonna build a lake over here on this side?
No, sir. Any water that comes on our property will come on our property and probably run right down that driveway and come out right here in this detention pond.
Existing water right now. That big creek runs right through there, all the way down through there.
Well, why don't you tell me then?
I don't know.
You
That's
sat
what
here.
I'm
You
saying.
sat here and contradicted every point I tried to tell you that I'm not going to release any more water. So
You're not gonna release it, but you're gonna block that.
No,
one
sir.
side
No,
of the
sir.
other- One side or the other's gonna be a
if
lake.
you've been doing dirt work long enough, you understand
I'm not
the
going
state
to let
laws do not
an
allow me to
argument
block
start over
water.
here, so-
That's all.
State laws do not allow me to block water and do not allow me to put more water on my neighbors than what's currently being done.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Mr. Pickle, your item, so please go ahead.
Well, I think I wanted us to look at both of these because I felt like that it wasn't right to make a decision with one without being able to at least look at the other one. I think that this one is much more suited to this area than the other one. I don't, but again, I don't see a problem with it. I like the idea of, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I like the opportunity to allow people to not be stuck in West Paris per se, but have other options out there. And there are no options in Paris. There are no options in Paris. And it's not just people from West Paris, it's people from East Paris too, but it's an option. And I think that and I understand we heard from District 7, but I think that there are other districts that are represented here who would love, their constituents would love to have the opportunity to move over here. And I don't think, the traffic, if everybody keeps saying we're not growing, well, then we've already got the traffic. And we're not going to have additional traffic because if these people, as everybody says, they're traveling anyway. And believe me, you've got a lot of traffic coming from Reno. And if this project, they've also got one that the city of Reno has approved. And if they do it in Reno, then all we're going to do is get the traffic and none of the property taxes.
Mr. Frierson?
Well, I think I stated a lot of the same logic as that would apply to this one as I tried to use on the last project. I do understand and appreciate everyone voicing their opinion on location if that's what this boils down to, and that's part of the process. So I appreciate that. It's certainly been educational. I would go back to agreeing with what Edwin said, that we talk a lot about opportunities to better the community, and that's always in your own perspective. But I think overall, I think the opportunity to have an investment like this in the community, I think bodes well for it. And if we're worried about neighborhoods, this certainly appears to be a more viable location if they've got to control the drainage issues and the traffic issues on their own dollar. That's not accepting any more responsibility for what they choose to do with it. We just have to hold them accountable. So,
Dr. Clifford.
I'm in favor of investment in Paris and housing. My sole concern has been to make sure that the people that live in the neighborhood are on board with it, and I still want to hear from the community members.
Mr. Plata?
I kind of agree with just what all of them been saying. Of course, everybody wants the investment. You always want more tax for your city. It's the only way you're gonna grow. But this stigma of East and West, I choose to live in West Paris, and myself, it's just a stigma. I think people just choose to live where they want to live. Most of them. Is this going to help the people that are real needy? I don't think so. I don't think they're going to be able to ever go there. But myself, I've said it before. I think we have too many apartment complexes like this already. The senior citizen thing, I would love to see that, because we have one right down from where I live that's really nice. But the apartment, I don't think I'm too agreeable with that. That's all.
Mr. Jenkins?
I know most of it is everybody's worried about the location, and the way it looks to me, it seems like a good location and looks like a good opportunity.
Thank you. Ms. Lancaster?
Well, I'll still go back to, I think citizens who live there ought to have the say first. I mean, they're the ones that are going to have to live there, and if they're not, if this is not something that they want living next door to them, that's what I support. I live in West Paris, and I prefer to live there. And I would like to have these citizens decide what develops around them. I mean, they chose that spot, and I think they ought to have a say.
Anything else? Ms. Lancaster? First of all, what I'd like to say is, I agree with Mr. Plata a lot of times, but I'm going to completely disagree with him on this one, because I don't consider living in West Paris as a stigma at all. I think all of Paris belongs to all of us, and I think we are very happy whether we live east, west, north, or south. So I do think that we have ignored West Paris for a long period of time, and that is why, you know, there were drainage issues, there were cleaning issues, etc., etc., etc. But I think by the same token, the council has agreed to do a lot of new infrastructure projects in West Paris, with the new replacement of water, sewer lines, and creation of sidewalks. So I really do not think there is any stigma attached to living in West Paris. I think it's a beautiful area. We have just ourselves ignored it for a period of time, but hopefully that will not happen. With that said, I feel that this is a little different project compared to the last one, but again, I'm going to resort to what the people in my district want, and if anyone wants to say anything, please come up and address it again, so that we can, so that at least I can make up my mind on what we want.
Mayor Hospi, I don't live in your district, but I live in if you'll look right to the bottom of that yellow and go to the right, there's a neighborhood right there. And I don't believe that any state engineering firm would let you divert the water to a major highway. And I know a 2-inch rain's not gonna make any difference, but we had rains this year, you know, we had 15 inches in a matter of days. And where's that water gonna go? It's gonna go right down that hill into that neighborhood. I don't care what you do to engineering, and the state's not gonna let you bring it to their major highway. And the city doesn't have any control over that highway. That's a Texas state highway, you know. So, and I got some questions to the investors. You know, bring us some proof of how long that you own these properties, and intend to manage these properties yourself before you sell them to somebody. You know, we don't have any proof that, you know, we're going to build this and I got $10 million in it. I sell it for a $20 million profit tomorrow. Then the person you sell it to has no plans of upkeep like y'all planning to upkeep. Yeah, I'd like to know. I've been doing this 2 years.
Sir, please to the mic.
I've been, like I said earlier, I'm 25 years in the construction and development business. I've been doing affordable housing for 10 years. We've put over 1,000 units, over $100 million of real estate, and I haven't sold one dime of it.
That'd be good. No, that's what the concern of most of the people is.
Yeah.
We don't have any information, you know.
Well,
Can you
I
see where
understand.
we're coming from?
I understand exactly where you're coming from, but it's also, this is the very beginning of the process, as the man said earlier, and we still have our zoning and platting, like, you're concerned about water. I don't know, haven't seen the engineering yet, but it will not release any more water than's coming across that vacant land right now. It's a law.
It's got to.
It can't. We have to detain it.
Concrete's got to send it.
We have to build a detention pond and
Well,
detain
you're
it.
talking about it on the front. What are you going to do the back?
I don't know yet. That's why we have that open spot. I may have to have 2 detention ponds, but we will detain all of our water that we produce, because they have a formula, and I'm not an engineer, and I don't play one on TV, so. But that would address your issues on the water.
Well, the main concern of mine, you know, we don't have a say in this because we live in Reno. The majority of the people here don't have a say in this. We live in Reno. It's whatever these 7 guys y'all want to do. And before what I want, before it gets to the point that I'm turning over to 7 people I don't have a voice to, that maybe we can get it stopped before then. And that's all I got to say.
Thank you. Anybody from City of Paris wants to address? Ms. Cherry? Ms. Alsobrook? Ms. Alsobrook, Ms. Cherry came a little before you. Ms. Alsobrook?
I'm sorry.
Ms. Cherry was ahead of you.
Oh, okay.
It's okay? All right?
She's saying okay.
Yeah.
My name's Jackie Alsobrook, and I live at 4135 Misty Lane. That's on the corner of 42nd and Southeast. And I am disturbed by some of the things I've heard tonight. It is as though people only want someone who looks like them to live near them. And I hope that's not true, because America was built on diversity. And this prejudice against West Paris really bothers me. I grew up at a time when there were neighborhoods all over Paris. Everybody's wanting to build east or north, and everybody's fighting over that area. There's some beautiful woods in this area. But the idea, I live in Morningside, and it's probably 80% over 65. I'd love to see children. I heard some anti-children remarks here tonight. Have we come to that as Parisians? What is wrong with us? Are you going to decide tomorrow that those people perhaps is an overweight, over 65, and we don't want any of those in our neighborhood? Or maybe it's a bald-headed white male that we don't want. This troubles me. As a Social Security receiver, if I tried to live on that, I wouldn't live very high on the food chain. And I'm not speaking really far against. I hate to see the trees cut, and I hate the idea that the only place people think they can build is north and east. We've got some beautiful land, west, south, and, you know, what is the matter with us? We have lots inside the city. Why does everything have to become ghettos? Why do we have to have 80 houses in one area? Why couldn't we take some of these free lots that the city is keeping up and try to rebuild the city inside the loop with government assistance? Why can't we look at something different in Paris for a change? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Alsobrook. Can I just make one comment before Ms. Cherry starts? Ms. Alsobrook, I certainly hope that you didn't get that impression from the council, because this person right here is a perfect example of diversity, I think. Go ahead, Ms. Cherry.
I just want to say I'm just so disappointed in the city council. I've heard, like she said, anti-children. I've heard those people, different type kids will be shifting into the North Lamar School District. I understand Dr. Hashmi wanting to please his constituents. These people in this room, that's just a handful of people from Paris, and like somebody said, half of them are from Reno. And so it's like you don't want anything other than what you have. I'm just so disappointed because one of y'all should have voted for affordable housing. You're in my district. We don't get anything, nothing. And I'm just disappointed. It's ridiculous. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Ms. Sherry.
Randall Lindsay, 1050 Southeast 29th. I very rarely come up here, and just for the record, I'm coming up here as a citizen of Paris, not as a representative of the media. One of the things I've loved about this council, most of you have been on for a few years, is one major focus has been we need more rooftops in Paris. Mm-hmm. Maybe this is the right decision, maybe it isn't, but I think we need to stay open-minded. I understand there's a stigma attached to anything that says low income. That's not fair, but let's be honest, there is. Maybe this will be an opportunity to start changing that stigma. I don't know. I don't know the developer, but tonight isn't about approving it. Tonight is giving them the chance to prove themselves to the citizens of Paris, and I'm okay with that.
Thank you. Anybody else? Oh, okay.
I live at 1535 Cope. I just want to point out that this has already been addressed. There's a lot of people that are not here tonight that were here and gave their opinion. A lot of hands that were raised that were already telling you how they felt, that weren't given the opportunity or didn't even know that this was being brought back up. So I want to point that out, and I want you to think about that when making your decision, because they're not here to stand up and raise that hand again. They weren't given the opportunity and they didn't know. Thank you.
Anybody else? Yes, Mr. Das.
I just want to say one thing. I love Paris. I don't care what direction you're talking about. I don't care what groups of people you're talking about. I love them all. I love the city. I've lived here since 1974 when I first came here from Fort Payne, Alabama, and I've loved it ever since. I welcome always putting housing where housing needs to be and for the people that it needs to be for. I'm all for having more rooftops in the city of Paris. This site here looks like a much better plan than what was planned for the other side. But the one thing that keeps coming over and over and over again when these things come before this council or other councils in the future is let the people know first. Let them know what you have planned. Don't come in here with these plats and drawings and houses and housings and go out, speak to the people. I've not received a bit of literature on any of this. I've read it all in the Paris News. I guess that's where we're supposed to get all of our information from. Unfortunately, if you don't subscribe to the Paris News and you don't come to these meetings, you're not in the know. But I urge all of these developers who are developing projects anywhere in this great city of ours to keep all the great people in mind in this city and let them know up front what their plans are. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Coles, Ms. Alcorn, anyone wants to say anything different?
I don't want anyone to misunderstand what we're all trying to say up here, because we're all for federal programs that help and assist people, that they are used as a stepping stone to help the people that need assistance, and as a stepping stone to get out of poverty. And
Ms. Alcorn, to the mic.
oh, okay. I thought maybe I could talk to the people, they'd hear me. And so I'm for helping people. And in our business, with our few properties that we have some in West Paris. We have some in East Paris. We have more high end, we have some lower end. It doesn't matter. We rent to the individual. And I will tell you the phone calls that we get, hundreds and hundreds of them. And I'll say, I've got a property here, it's in East Paris. I have a property there, it's in West Paris. And time again, they say, well, my grandmother's in West Paris, my family, my church, I want the one in West Paris. So let's put this property where the people want it, where they want to live. They grew up in West Paris, I don't care, but that's where they want to be. This has happened over and over. And so it's not that we're against the programs. It's just, it needs to be in the proper place, and it doesn't need to be high rises or 2 or 3 stories in places where people don't want them.
Don Pryor, 4879 Pine Mill Road. I haven't heard it mentioned tonight. It's my understanding that the city of Reno has already approved an 80 housing complex at the corner of Mansfield and Lamar Avenue. If that's right, it seems to me like that's going to be a lot of apartments right there together. And I didn't know if that's true or not, or if you'd heard about that or not. So, thank you.
Thank you. I'm not sure. I've not heard anything. It has approved it? Okay. Yes, please, go ahead.
I'll just sit down right here this time. So the deal in Reno is also our property and our proposed project, and we addressed that last time. I know you were absent at the council. They had a council meeting the same night that we had our first council meeting here in Paris. I came here, my son went there. They approved it for a resolution of support. To address that gentleman's concern there, both of those projects will not be built. This one and that one will not be built at the same time.
So
there's not enough funding at the state level to do that.
Thank you. Mr. Godwin, just for future, is there a possibility that we can have a mic facing this way too? Because some people like to address that way.
We can, certainly.
If the council has no objection, because people kind of turn backwards and forwards. So if we had a portable mic that if somebody wants to look that way and address.
Okay. I would only say that generally, and tonight's an exception obviously, but generally the purpose of citizen input is for them to talk to you. And so sometimes that encourages people to talk amongst themselves and even fuss amongst themselves, which we want to discourage.
All right. Good enough. I'm going to ask for, at least for myself, help from the only District 7 people, whether they want me to support it or be against it. So people who are only from District 7 is what I'm asking right now. What would you like to do? Are you for it? I do want to explain one thing from my standpoint. The project looks a little bit different compared to the last one. It does show some better traffic, and it does show some. I understand that there may be a drainage issue, but the thing is, the gentleman, as he's specifying that they're going to be responsible for the drainage. But having said that, it's just my opinion. I still want to have, yes, sir. I do want to, are you in City of Paris or City of Reno? Okay.
I left Paris right there with one line. Reno's on the other side there.
Okay.
Our fence divides it.
Okay.
On that side of it. If they've done got that approved over there for 80, why do they want to go over and get this approved also?
What is your preference if you had a choice of building between Paris and Reno?
It's where it gets approved, though. There's no
yes,
guarantee.
it's where it's approved. There's no guarantees, and now you're putting me in a bad position because I'm not going to answer your question. I'm not going to answer your question which one I prefer.
Okay.
It's where it's approved, and It's basically the properties are, I don't know how far they're apart, a quarter mile. One's in the city of Reno, one's in the city of Paris. When we start this process, we don't know where we're going to get support, where we're going to get denied. We don't know any of that until we come before you and start the process. And so that's why I put in 2 deals to see where I would get support. If I wind up with support at both places, they're both not going to get built. I can assure you that.
Okay. So I'll go back to, yes, Ms. Alcorn. To the mic, please.
Yes. Those of us, I'm Cindy Alcorn, and I live at 870 Southeast 41st Street, and I'm up here again. Because one point I wanted to make was the impact of these apartments on those of us who have property already. And the reason why they want to build in Paris is this whole point system is bottom line again. So why don't they just, you know, I'm against it,
Okay.
both of them.
All right. So let me just see a show of hands from people in my district. How many are for the project? And how many are against? This is only District 7, please. How many are against? Okay, thank you very much. All right. Council, what does the council want to proceed with? Mr. Pickle, it's your item.
I'd ask for a vote.
Okay, what do you want to propose?
I guess the same thing that you did, except with the other location. So whatever.
Please specify so that it's
Well,
clear.
way back
Are you
when-
for or against? What are you proposing?
I'm proposing that we vote for, I guess.
To give the resolution or not
Okay, voting for the resolution.
for the resolution? Okay. Mr. Pickle has made a motion. Do I have a second on the motion?
For the resolution?
Yes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Raise the hand, please.
It's just a resolution.
Just the resolution. Yeah. Mr. Pickle, Mr. Frierson, Mr. Clifford, Mr. Pilata, Mr. Jenkins, and Ms. Lancaster. Ms. Lancaster, did your hand go up or down? Up? Okay, therefore, I'll vote against.
Okay.
So the resolution carries. All right.
Can I ask you one question?
Sure.
Can I ask you
One more?
Yeah.
One more?
This is, you're doing the same thing, you're going for credits, right, stuff, so neither one of these may happen.
That's right. Neither one of them may
That's
happen.
correct.
But I do appreciate the council, and I appreciate the citizens of Paris. And I've never worked so hard for a piece of paper in all my life.
So,
I believe that's true, right?
And so you actually told us one time, says it probably won't right now. Whitesboro has the
White House, that's what he said. He said it probably won't. I find it hard to believe if the TDHCA would give 2 deals in a town population of 7,000. White House population 7,000. Brownstone has a senior deal in White House. If that gets the sole support from the state rep, then we're going to be building here. It's complicated, and there's a lot of things can happen between here and there, and he can attest to that and tell you the same thing I'm telling you. A lot of this stuff is out of our control. We just have to try to score the points. I know that's an ugly word, but that's what we have to try to do, and try to pick the best locations that we can pick.
Let me ask you, would you be open to not making it multi-story, or you have to?
We have to turn in our applications, our final applications on March the 1st, and we have to put how many units we can build there. And in our preliminary application, we're going to build 80 units. So we can't get enough single story on that 5-acre tract to make it work. Has to be multi-story.
I want to change mine to no.
It has been voted on now.
Okay, that's fine.
So
it's just a resolution.
yeah, okay. If you want to bring it back, then one of the people who is for it has to make you can make a motion to undo the motion, and then we can do it.
No, I ain't bringing it back.
Okay. All right. All right. Item number 16 is discuss and act on disannexation request received from 36 Northeast Street property owners as follows: K. White, George William, Donna and Wilfred Hargis, Terry Sandra Fitzgerald, Greg Wynn, and William and Thomas, Lindsay Toms and William Toms. So I'm going to make it a little bit short on this one, if you don't mind. This is the property that we had all agreed that we will be okay with this annexation because we were not going to provide all the services, correct?
This is one you asked us to go back and see how much it would cost.
Okay, so this is not that one.
We did that one last week that you're thinking of.
Okay, all right. So let's hear it from you.
Well, this is one that you.
I'm going to ask everyone to please. Yes.
They came before the council in this 36 Northeast, came before the council on January 25th, and you directed staff to get some information about what it would take to get sewer out there, and other people than me are better at addressing the engineering.
The new city engineer.
Hi, good evening. We looked at options to provide sewer along 36 Northeast, and we are able to provide gravity sewer for 6 of the 7 properties. The property on the southeast corner at Smallwood Road is set back a little further from the road, and we don't think we can get gravity from that house, but there's alternative systems. In order to provide that sewer, it would be between $400,000 and $500,000 for the 7 properties.
Thank you. Anybody has any questions? I'm going to say I'm going to favor providing the sewer and keeping them in the city limits. That's my thought. Now, Mr. Pickle, your turn.
I agree.
Mr. Frierson.
I mean, is this money gonna come, where's the money gonna come from? It'll be out of the bond fund?
Yeah.
Okay, and at what sacrifice, do we have any idea of what we would lose out of the?
We have money specifically set aside in there for extension of lines. This can be one of those extensions of lines. And there are, there's always, the theory behind this would be not just to serve those folks, but it also offers opportunities for additional development at some point in the future. There are large tracts of land out there, for example, that are for sale, that are zoned residential. So that's where you'd hope you get your return on investment long term, is obviously you're not going to be able to on just 6 homes or 7 homes.
Okay, and so it's a viable solution.
It's functional.
It's functional.
I mean,
it's expensive.
Yeah, it's very expensive to think you're going to spend that kind of money for 6 houses. Again, the hope would be at some point in time they're going to be giving out peanuts. At some point in time, you would hope there would be additional development. And it's a developable area, but I can't make any prediction on whether that will happen in a year or in 20 years.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
Okay, well, I guess that's kind of my question is, if you're talking about $500,000 for 7 houses, and I guess the truth is, we've polled everybody else in here tonight, or any of the residents here, that we could ask if they were provided a functional solution, is that something they would even want?
They last time you were not here when we had this discussion, and they were perfectly fine with staying in the city limits as well, as long as we provided that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're right, I wasn't here for that. Mr. Fitzgerald has spoken, so I appreciate it very much. Okay, I mean.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
I'm Lindsay. I live at 2425 36, and I'm just wondering if there's a possibility with the price of this, can we have liens filed on our property that we'll be stuck with?
No, ma'am.
They're not at all? No chance?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
That answers my questions.
Okay. I'm going to make, for the sake of.
We would need to acquire easements for the utility, which would likely cross all of the properties listed.
Can you please come in?
Sandra Fitzgerald, 2335 Northeast 36. My question is, how soon will we get this? We've already waited 17 years.
Yeah, well, we promised you that this time you won't have to wait 17 years. But give it a little bit of time for us to, it will get done.
All right, I have the property at 2330, which has no city utilities at all. Water, sewer, trash, anything. Can you de-annex it?
As we have discussed in the past, we cannot de-annex little sections of land to create
Okay.
islands, but I'm going to let the city attorney and city manager.
Is-
The property
is
on
the-
the east side of the road?
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Is
and
the
that's the one
golf-
she talked about,
uh-huh,
more
that we
difficult to
don't
get
have-
to.
uh-huh,
So we'll
right.
have to look at that in more detail, because that is a challenge for us.
But is the golf course, are they in the city?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Anybody has any questions or concerns? Everybody agrees to allow?
I have one question. Is sewer going down and tie in it on 195?
No, sir, it will flow south to the Brownwood subdivision, and it will require that we we relay a portion of sewer that is along Brownwood Drive to the manhole there at 37th in order to get gravity sewer to flow to that system. So from the top of the hill, it will go down 36, cross the road into the Brownwood subdivision.
Mr. McCarthy, is that? Yeah.
I'm Kyle McCarley. I live at 2375 Wildwood. I'm here for a different issue. I didn't know this was coming up tonight, but we bought our lot on Wildwood when Wildwood Development was developed and 17 lots were sold in the city. We knew we were in the city gray area, that we would be getting county water, and we believed that we would get sewer at one time. Most of my neighbors have annexed themselves out of the city. I'm still in the city. I hope the fire department knows that if I ever catch on fire. But I'd love to have sewage too if y'all are running around the neighborhood offering sewage.
Do we need to vote on this item?
No, sir.
Okay. I take it that the consensus of the council is to provide.
You get one more.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm William Toms, 2425, 36 Northeast. What about curb and gutter or any of, I've got a driveway that actually comes out on from my property. Will the demolition affecting, I mean, it's a year and a half
I don't
old.
want to speak for the city manager, but I can tell you one thing, the likelihood of that happening immediately is slim to none. Am I right or wrong?
It'll still work and function the way it is right now at
With a-
minimum. So yeah, we'll take care of that issue. We won't just dig it up and leave it.
Yeah, I mean, because I just put it down about a year and a half.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
might just not give you sewer to make up for it. No, we'll take care of that. All right. And just for the public and also for the council, as Carla did a pretty quick estimate on this. Hopefully it'll end up being easier and less expensive even than this, but as we run into snags or issues, we may come back to you and say, well, this isn't a good idea after all. The good news is that in order for folks to not to pay taxes next year, we have until the end of September. So if for some reason we change our mind, or I come back and say, no, let's do it after all, and I hope I don't do that because I don't usually want to ever disannex folks I can keep from it. We do have, you missed it last week, I actually did say I was in favor of a disannexation.
I'm not in favor of disannexation. I'm in favor of providing the services.
Yeah, and that's what we hope to do. But just in case there's some issue, I don't want to catch anybody surprised or if it ends up being.
Well, let's not discuss.
Okay.
All right. Item. Sure.
Billy Hargis, I live at 2245 36 Northeast. My question is, like they say, we've been living out there 17 years, actually longer, but we've been in the city like 17 years. The drainage out there has been horrific from day one. Where I live, and the next door neighbor to the north, there's water comes off a pasture across there. I mean, it's there, and from my understanding, originally the water was supposed to go across the ditch at the golf course and go to the lake. Well, probably 15, 16 years ago, Bill Manny's late wife tried to get all that corrected. Well, they said they couldn't go on the golf course. And they did not want to clean the ditch all the way back down to Brownwood because that would dump too much water on them. So what are we going to do about that?
Drainage is something that we have begun to look at because it was brought up at the last couple of meetings ago. So that is something we'll try to, and I can't make any promises how it'll work or what it'll do, but it is part of the project in our mind.
Because a lot of it backs up on me coming out of that patch.
Yeah, I know
because it's got no place to
drainage is
go.
horrible out there, so that's something we'll certainly try to address.
All right, thank you.
All right, we're going to move to the next.
Got one more.
Good evening to the mayor, to the, my name is Aaron Jenkins. I want to address to the, that I live on 5th Northeast. We lived there for 40 years. We have senior citizens over there. And I never seen many times that the sweeper would come through.
Mr. Jenkins, if you don't mind, we are on a specific item. If it is not related to the item,
okay.
I apologize, but I'll have to stop. You just go ahead and tell us. The gentleman is sitting right there. You tell him what the issue is.
Okay.
But I don't mean to interrupt you, but I can't help it because I can't go off the agenda.
Okay, it's on the agenda. Excuse me.
All right.
Okay, I'll talk to you.
Is that your dad? Okay. Item number 17. There's nobody else here, right? What are you coming up for? You have to say something about that too, because we are spending money? Oh, item 17. Okay. Discuss and act on resolution authorizing the Texas Coalition for Affordable Powering to negotiate an electric supply agreement for 5 years for deliveries of electricity effective January 1, 2018, authorizing TCAP to act as an agent on behalf of the city to enter into contract for electricity.
Okay. Just briefly.
Excuse me, please.
Just briefly, the City of Paris has been a member of the Texas Coalition for Affordable Power, or TCAP as it's referred to, since 2001, and the goal of that organization, which is made up of 171 political subdivisions, mostly cities, is to establish a stable, long-term electrical cost, so that for budgeting purposes particularly. It's a nonprofit organization. The board is made up of city officials, people like on city councils and some staff members as well. Over the last 5 years, we've been a member of TCAP because it is nonprofit. They have refunded to the city in form of equity distributions over $95,000 in addition to the low rates that we had. Because electrical rates are currently at an all-time low, TCAP negotiated a 5-year contract that would begin when our current contract ends next year. And in order to do that, they need to go ahead and lock in the rate now while it's low, like it is. Right now, electrical rates, they could lock in somewhere probably just a little under 4 cents a kilowatt hour. And this contract would run from January 1st, 2018 through December 31st, 2022. And so we would ask the staff is requesting that the council authorize us to proceed and go forward with that agreement with TCAP.
Would anyone like to speak on that? Mr. Pickle?
Does that allow city council members to piggyback on it too?
Well, we wish. We'd take all the extra we could. But,
No, ma'am.
Mr. Farris?
I don't have any questions. Thanks, Gene.
No questions.
No questions. No questions. I have no questions, so do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. And we're on item 18.
Discuss and act on an ordinance amending Article 1 of Chapter 2 of Code of Ordinances of the City of Paris by amending section 2.1 Rules of Order of City of Council meetings, allowing adoption of ordinance on first reading or by placement on an adoption of consent agenda.
Yes, that's my item, and it's a procedural item. The city charter gives the council the authority to determine its own procedures, and the charter also provides that an ordinance does not have to be read twice at two separate meetings. Nonetheless, in 2012, the council adopted an ordinance that set forth the procedures for city council meetings. Included in that ordinance was a provision that ordinances had to be read twice at two separate meetings before they could be adopted. Thereafter, the council adopted less formally procedures whereby they could adopt an ordinance on the first reading and put the ordinances on the consent agenda for adoption. And just as a cleanup measure, the ordinance needs to be amended so that it conforms with that procedure.
So are you telling me that we should put them on the consent agenda or not? Because I'm completely against putting adoption of ordinances on one meeting and on consent agenda.
Okay. Well, I mean,
I'm not sure what
the practice has been to adopt ordinances on one reading, and occasionally an ordinance is adopted on the consent agenda.
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I just said, once upon a time when I got here, you guys had an ordinance that said you had to do every ordinance at two different meetings, and you all agreed that was a waste of time. And so we changed it by resolution, and we were gonna come back the next week and change it by ordinance, and 3 years later, the new city attorney said, hey, y'all never did that. And so we just need to go back and formalize what we agreed to 3 years ago.
But I think, if I'm not mistaken, in between, we had seen a few items on the consent agenda that all of us got concerned about. And that is why we had decided that we were not going to let it go on the consent agenda. This is again from recollection. Janice, correct me if I'm wrong or right.
I don't remember, and I have to go back and check out those.
Because I think it was discussed in one of the meetings. I'm not that forgetful quite yet. It was discussed in one of the meetings. One of the items had shown up on the consent agenda, and I don't remember which item it was, but we decided at that point that we will not have those on the consent agenda. It will be placed on the regular agenda so that by chance something is not missed.
Okay. So you're saying you don't want any ordinances on the consent agenda, and that's not unusual for cities to do it that way, so that's.
Yeah, I don't think I want, personally, but the rest of the council can decide, I don't want any ordinances on the consent agenda.
That's an easy change to make. The big thing is not having to do them at two
But
different
we don't have
meetings.
to change, we have to ask the rest of the council here.
Yeah.
Mr. Pickle?
Well, I'm okay either way, because if it's on the consent agenda, we can always pull it out. But it doesn't matter.
Mr. Fresh?
Potato, potato.
I was just gonna say, you can always pull it off the consent agenda, but.
Dr. Clifford?
Don't have any feeling one way or the other. I don't mind. Probably having an ordinance on the consent agenda probably isn't the best idea, so, but I don't have a strong feeling either way. I'd be happy to go with what she said or with your change to it.
Mr. Pilata?
It's really nothing. I have no strong feelings either way. I'll agree. If you feel strongly about it, it's fine.
Okay. Mr. Jenkins?
I agree if that's what we agreed on earlier.
Ms. Lancaster?
I'm okay.
You're okay with what?
With what you said.
Oh, okay, so can I take everybody's, is the consensus that it's okay to put it on the regular agenda?
With one reading?
With one reading.
With one reading.
I don't really care, whether that's fine.
That's fine. Do we need to?
Do we need a vote?
Yes, sir. You
Okay,
can-
I'll make
you
a
can-
motion that it be placed on the regular agenda, but with one reading.
I can make that change.
Second?
She seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. What's the time?
Late.
No football tonight?
No football.
Okay.
No basketball.
All
No
right.
baseball.
Discuss and
No
act on
volleyball.
an ordinance amending the traffic control map adopted in section 3165 of Code of Ordinance of City of Paris, establishing a no parking zone on south side of Bonham from 41st Southwest to 44 Southwest. Mr. Tuttle?
Mayor and members of the council, this item was brought before the Traffic Commission by at the request of the Department of Public Safety. As you know, they've recently built a new building there in that area, and they're also now doing commercial vehicle inspections at this location. And since they've opened, they've had issues with these commercial vehicles parking out on the street instead of pulling out up onto their property where they have ample place for them to park.
So you're for it?
So yes, we are. Okay. We're requesting that no parking zone be.
Anyone on the council has any problems with that? I'll make a motion to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Item number 20 is discuss and act on ordinance amending the traffic control map adopted in section 3165 Code of Ordinances of City of Paris, Texas, establishing a no parking zone on north side of 100 East Brame Street, South Church Street to South Main Street. Mr. Tuttle, is it the same kind of issue?
Yes, this no parking zone was actually there, but it just wasn't covered by an ordinance.
You're for it?
Yes.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor? Item number 21, discuss and act an appointment to fill a vacancy on Main Street Advisory Board. Who are the candidates?
The candidates are Leah Rowland, Kelly Cody, Jess Kamer, and Randy Hodder, but we have 2 vacancies. I sent you all an email earlier this afternoon. We had someone else resign today.
Okay. Janice, I don't know whether the problem was with my computer or what, but I did not see descriptions of all of them.
Do you want me to give you a brief description of each
If you
person?
can, please, that would be great. Does the council have any objections to just hear quickly the description?
I'm not going to read everything they sent. I'm
Yeah,
just
that's
going to
fine.
give you a brief. Leah Rowland has a real estate career. She's interested in helping citizens of Paris revive the downtown area.
Okay.
Kelly Cody has a BAA, employed by Paris Regional Medical Center, worked in business development alongside marketing volunteers.
Isn't it Code?
I'm sorry?
Cody Kelly, not Kelly Cody?
It may be.
It is.
Okay.
Cody Kelly. Cody Kelly. Yes.
Very interested in downtown, especially rebuilding the history of rebuilding after the fire. Jess Kamer worked with Health and Human Services for almost 4 years, master's degree in psychology, loves the community. Randy Hodder wants to promote the historic revitalization of downtown Paris, undergraduate of University of Oklahoma.
All right. Anyone wants to have any suggestions?
I'll nominate Randy Hodder and Cody Kelly.
One at a time, please.
Okay, well, I'll nominate whichever one you want first.
Go ahead. Which one?
Randy Hodder first.
Okay, I'll second it.
I nominate Cody Kelly.
Well, let me just take a vote on first.
Vote on that.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so who did we get now?
Now, I would nominate Cody Kelly.
Okay, second. Well, we don't really need a second. All in
We need
favor?
second, anyway.
Not a nomination. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. Okay. Done with that. Now, if I can take a little suggestion, please. Ms. Alsobrook has been sitting here patiently, and I know how she is. So, if you don't mind, I'm going to ask to move item number 25 up. So, I'll make a motion to move item 25 up.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Mr. Bodman?
Well, I don't really have anything new to present. We've talked about this before. There's $110,000 that's available for improvements at Lake Crook Park. We'd like to get those improvements done as quickly as possible. The mayor and I met a few weeks ago, and one of the suggestions was to appoint a citizens committee by the council so that we could get citizens' input rather than just leaving it up to staff and the city council to come up with how to spend that money. It won't go as far as we'd like it to do, but still it's $110,000. It's a lot of money, and we think it's going to be a great opportunity for us to do some stuff out there, especially with the big special events coming up this summer. The Chuck Wagon races and also the Southern Drag Boat Association, which has signed on to be here for 3 years in a row now. So that's all I have.
Okay. So I have received some phone calls, and I'll give you the names of some of the people who are interested. You can nominate whoever you want to. Mr. Ken Coles wanted to be on the committee. Mr. McCarley wanted to be on the committee. And Ruth Ann Alsobrook wanted to be on the committee. So I take the first. Okay, all right. So Ruth Ann Alsobrook and Mrs. Alsobrook, Jackie Alsobrook, both want to be on the committee.
How many people are going to be on the committee?
There is no particular number, but I thought that all 7 of us can nominate one person. So I I'll nominate somebody from my district, Mr. McCarley.
I'd like to nominate Ms. Alsobrook.
Which also broke? Which one?
The young one.
Oh, the young one. Oh. Miss
Jackie,
Alsobrook-
Jackie.
Miss Jackie, it's coming true. What you said a little while back is coming true.
No, Jackie.
Oh, you all want to nominate Jackie?
No, Ruth Ann.
Ruth Ann, okay. So, Miss.
Because I know somebody else wants the honor of nominating Jackie.
All right. Anybody else?
For me, Bud Mackey.
Oh.
Whatever, that's fine.
I have 3 that I need to nominate. Let me explain why first.
ahead,
I would
man.
like to nominate Robert Talley because I know he's a city employee, but we've been talking about doing stuff through KPB out at the Lake Crook.
But
for
you
several
don't have
years.
to nominate, you can
So,
just say that,
I would
add
like-
him to the.
I would like to add Robert Talley.
I'll just make him go to the meeting.
Yeah, go to
Okay,
the.
okay, and then
And
I
keep
would
your
like.
nomination for
Okay,
somebody
and
else.
I would also like to nominate, I'm meeting with the leadership classes from Paris and North Lamar tomorrow morning, and I would like to have one from each of those schools, districts.
Well,
See, that's
well then,
good.
since the honor falls to me, I do want to nominate Jackie.
Okay, well, then if nobody else wants to nominate anybody else, then I'll nominate Ken Coles. You have anyone?
I don't.
You would.
Okay, all right, so it's Mrs. and Mrs. Alsobrook, Ken Coles, Mr. McCarley, whatever Edwin wants. Well, we don't-
Finally!
Finally.
Not what
Can somebody write that down?
only for this.
No, that's on camera.
One time deal.
And Mr. Frierson has nominated,
Mr. Mackey.
yeah, and so that completes it. All right,
We'll set a meeting.
okay, sounds good to me. All right, thank you so much for coming. Please.
You guys have heard me before, but it's gonna be the same to you. Second verse. My name's Jackie Alsobrook. I live at 4135 Misty Lane. 2 years ago, Dr. Swint gave that donation. I attempted to organize the Friends of Lake Crook Park. The enthusiasm was unbelievable, but the organization could not get off the ground. Now, I understand that the only money this group is going to be allowed to spend, and this is where I really, really want you to think hard about what you're doing with the assets that were given you as councilman. And it's not a place for you. This is the park, Edwin, you can't build a house on it. We're not dealing with.
I know.
What was this now, Edwin?
I'm not going there. I'm not going there.
But think about it. You guys have spent a ton of money on the airport. That's for the rich. Most of us here can't afford airplanes. Are we going to fly in and out of Paris? Maybe Dr. Hashmi, maybe Dr. Clifford, maybe the rest
No,
of the
I take
council.
offense to that one. I really take offense to that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, when I heard that the only money you guys would allocate, I spent 2 years trying to find state, trying to find a way to get around some obstacles. And I feel very strongly that we have a beautiful piece of property which would bring money into Paris, but with only $110,000. Dr. Hashmi, thank you, and Dr. Sweat, bless you for your $110,000. However, if you're going to build a house and you've only got $10, you better spend half of it on a foundation. We don't even have enough money to build a public restroom. I wish this council would look at the idea of developing a destination, Paris as PADC, Paris a destination city. Let these retirees with their motorhomes come here, let families with children come out, spend a little of the tax money on a park and a beautiful lake. We could have sailboat races. We could do innovative things. We will recruit the master gardeners and the environmental people. It's a beautiful spot, but please think about funding it. How far is $110,000 going to go? Do you not have any funds, Mr. Godwin, that could be allocated toward maybe building a sewer line out there? That's what we need first.
Ms. Alsabrook, I think one of the things that we are going to let the committee do is to bring about some enthusiasm in development of the Lake Crook Park, and maybe other people will step up and contribute.
There is a tremendous amount of unorganized enthusiasm.
So let's see what that brings, and then once your committee has done something, come back to the city and we'll rediscuss. But I think to begin with, this is what the city can afford right now. If I'm speaking for all of the council members, right, wrong, hello?
I don't know, maybe you can afford to put some more in.
Maybe we'll see.
I'm
Can't
okay.
point anymore. Thank you,
All
thank you,
right.
but please, give this some serious consideration.
Okay.
This is a wonderful place. When we had kids out there, not one of them was texting, not one of them was playing video games. They were running, they were laughing, they were playing with balloons and balls and horseshoes, and I want volleyball courts. I want a fun place like I grew up with. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, next item on the agenda. Can I ask the council members, do you really want to discuss the public educational channel on this meeting?
Nope.
Okay, can I have a motion to table that item?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, that item is tabled for now. Okay. Discuss sale of city property, provide direction to city staff.
We're still looking and examining and trying to sell the property, the old police building and the old health department building. As we looked at those buildings, there was a serious problem with asbestos, and we had those both properties examined to determine the extent of that. Trying to get full disclosure for when we tried to sell it. I obtained estimates on what it would take to abate the asbestos and to demo the property.
Excuse us, please.
If somebody wanted to demo that as well, and I provided that information to you in my agenda memo. I think the manager has some additional comments about one possibility that might kind of offset that cost. But it is going to be an expensive thing to do, and we would need direction from the council on that.
Yeah, and specifically, this is kind of a hard nut to crack because the abatement may cost as much or even more than the entire building is worth, and so that's why it's really hard to sell. But there are methods, and we'll give you more specifics later to make sure we're legal. But the notion is essentially to sell it at a net cost. If the building's worth $200,000, it costs $149,000 to abate it, then the net price would be $51,000. Not that we would ever sell it for a negative number, but it could be a very low number. That's good for everybody. There are mechanisms to do that. They're a little complicated, but that's the idea. We'd like to go ahead and proceed with that. And in fact, we do have one specific vendor. Of course, it has to be bid publicly. You can't sell it directly to a single vendor, but we do have a single vendor at least that is interested in purchasing the property under those conditions. And so, given permission, we'll move forward with the legal matters that are related to that, and then also begin advertising for a sale on this is on the police building. Now, I have not had interest on the purchasing the health department building.
Any questions?
I've got a question. We demolished Casa Bonita several years ago when I was on the council, and the initial estimates on how much it was going to cost were $1 million to $1.2 million, and it ended up costing us like $428,000. If we just simply did I'm gonna call it bulldozing it and keep it watered, sprinkled as we did it, isn't that a cheaper option?
You cannot do it. You cannot do it. It has asbestos in it.
No, we did it before.
There's such a thing as a wet demolition.
Yes.
But it has to be under certain specific conditions, and I'm not knowledgeable because asbestos becomes dangerous when it's friable, which
exactly.
is the fancy word for
But we
airborne.
faced this
And
exact thing
for
against
whatever
Casa
reason,
Bonita.
that building, I know I've been told, I wasn't here, but that met the requirements. And so it was able to, they kept it watered down. Whether this is one that can be watered down or not, I don't know. The last time I talked to somebody, they told me no, but I don't know where we are on that. Maybe
We did that to the building on Bonham.
Is that the one that fell down?
Was wet.
Okay.
But
So
now what
there
would
is
be
such
the
a thing.
advantage? I'm just
It
curious.
keeps it from being friable.
No, I understand, but
Cheaper.
we spend the money on demolition, the price of the property is still the same.
Well, but I mean, it's, to just bulldoze it and keep it watered down is a lot cheaper to do if that's, I mean, when I say we did Casa Bonita, how many units was that, Gene?
It was a lot, but I think the issue on that was it was so deteriorated that it allowed us to do that. And these.
Well, and I don't know,
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
in
I
thi-
would
in
love.
this case, we would probably put the onus for the abatement on the purchaser.
Well,
rather-
and if, I
So that
don't,
way, if he does it cheap or if he does it expensive, it's kind of.
that's fine. But if this falls through, then I'd like for us to, and the health department, look at that option too.
Right.
Because I really thought what I wanted to do when we did Casa Bonita was get a whole package and bulldoze the police department too, but everybody said, oh, it'll sell. Here we are.
Well,
Anybody?
yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Gene.
I was just gonna say, the police department was in a lot better shape back then than it is now.
Yeah,
It is now.
But it's still, it was empty back then and it's still empty now.
Mr. Jenkins, you want to say something?
Oh, so the wet process, I mean, does it, like if somebody want to build on Casa Bonita where it used to be, is it?
There are no issues on that now. All of the
It's clean.
Yeah, it's
asbestos
clean.
and
If
you
stuff
know
was
somebody-
removed
Go
as
ahead,
part
get
of
'em.
that process. So they could build on it, yes.
Any
Well,
further
this is
discussion on this? Can we tell him
development.
that if it is cost effective or we are not paying out of our pockets, it's okay to proceed?
It's fine.
Okay.
We'll do so. Thank you.
Item 24, discuss and act on a professional service agreement in an amount not to exceed 200,000 with Apex Geoscience for material testing services on 2013. Bond for water and sewer improvement package number 4. Miss City Engineer.
Thank you. This item is for a contract with Apex Geoscience. They're a local geotechnical and material testing lab. And they've submitted a proposal for $192,502.50. And we have worked successfully with them on past projects, is my understanding. They will complete testing services for the $23 million bond project, referred to as Package 4.
And this would be required?
Yes.
It's
this is-
required testing?
Yes, this is to
Okay.
make sure that our field work is conforming to the plans and specifications.
And the bid is done by whatever appropriate ways and methods?
It's professional services, so it's
Yeah.
based on qualifications.
Okay. Does anyone in the council have any questions about it? No. Can I have a?
So moved.
This
No.
is, this the same thing we was trying to get, they're doing all the inspections, or just this for material?
This is number 4.
Just materials testing, not inspections.
Yep.
Just testing. So moved.
I made the motion, Mr. Pickles seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
We should table 26.
Okay, I'll make a
So
motion
moved.
to idle table 26. Table
I
it.
said so moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Frierson, you're saying it very slowly. You want to discuss it?
I was watching Miss Lancaster raise
Oh,
her hand.
okay.
I just
I'm
raised
just
my
along for the
hand.
ride, man.
All right, discuss an ordinance addressing the issue of panhandlers and provide direction to city staff. Mr. Plata.
I put this on here because somebody brought it up to me to ask me to put it on here and discuss it. This person claims that getting more and more frequent in stores, mostly on the west side. He's saying it's happening in other places that store owners are having to actually run people off because it's hurting their business, and people are out there asking for money all the time and stuff. So that's what I was just wanting to bring for the forefront. And I talked a little bit to Miss Harris, and I think she has something. Keith?
Mr. Plata, the chief and I have kind of worked through this a little bit. About a year ago, we were talking about doing an ordinance about panhandling. There are some constitutional constraints on what you can do in that field. For example, you can't have an ordinance that prohibits someone from coming up to somebody and saying, can you give me $1? I mean, there are First Amendment free speech issues involved there. Several cities have ordinances for aggressive panhandling, that involve touching, raising a ruckus with somebody. What we kind of came out to when we were looking at this about a year ago was that a lot of those things are already covered by criminal statutes. For example, if you touch someone in an offensive manner, that's an assault. If you started raising all kinds of canes, screaming at them in public, that could be disorderly conduct. I mean, we can pass such an ordinance, or we can draft such an ordinance for you for your review. Just be aware that there are limitations on what such an ordinance can accomplish.
Can I ask how Dallas, you know, everybody's always comparing ourselves to Dallas, so I'm going to ask about Dallas. You know, there used to be people standing on the corner and stuff, and they passed an ordinance to stopping that. How'd they do it?
I'm not certain exactly what you're talking about. There are ordinances in some of these bigger cities about freeway access and underpasses, and you can regulate to an extent time or areas where such activity can take place. And the issues with those areas are that they interfere with vehicular traffic and are a danger. So there are some ways to regulate those sorts of things that wouldn't really apply if somebody came up to you in front of a Dollar General or at the plaza or something like that.
So you kind of, what I'm hearing is there's not much anything you can do.
There are limitations on what you can do. We'd be happy to bring you an ordinance to look at that we think probably passes constitutional muster, but some of these aggressive panhandling ordinances have not been litigated. So, you know, there's a bit of a question mark on how far you can go there.
So maybe I need to ask, was the other councilman, do we need to pursue this or not?
I'm kind of curious to see what the chief would recommend if something like that happened. You know, what's the best?
You're not presenting all those pages, are you?
No. Just like Ms. Harris said, we had some calls around Kroger's, that area, and the gas station with people coming up asking for money and all that type of thing. And that's what got us off on coming up with some type of a ordinance and researching it. And actually what you're talking about that they're doing in Dallas was one of the constitutional cases that got thrown out in Austin, where they had passed an ordinance that you can't be on the freeway or something like that. And again, it was Austin, the liberal capital of Texas. And, you know, they said, no, you can't have an ordinance that would do that. Our officers have made citations on people that we've had complaints on under the solicitation ordinance because they don't have a permit. And so we've been trying to affect it that way, but it's still going to come down to a constitutional question that if I just come up and say, hey, give me $1, it's going to be very hard to have an ordinance that will prevent that. If you come up and somebody touches you, starts getting loud with you or anything else, there's already statutes in place that can handle that.
So what is your suggestion? Leave it alone, or?
We're handling it right now, and sometimes less is more. And so I think we're good to go right now so we don't invite a constitutional lawsuit.
Are these guys, are they hanging out? Are they loitering or anything? Are they just?
The ones that the ones that I know of that we actually had calls on were just walking up to people and asking for money.
Oh, I thought maybe they was hanging out in front of the store.
Well, if they're hanging out at the store or if they're just hanging around there and stuff, then you get them for loitering too, right?
There's not a loitering ordinance, and that's unconstitutional. The owners of the property can come up and say, hey, if you're going to be here, come in and do business. If you're not, you need to leave.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So when these when these calls come in, are there pockets? Like, do you know kind of where these calls are coming from? Are they in concentrated areas? I guess is kind of what I'm asking.
What really got our attention is that we had, and Stephanie, I can't remember, did we have like 25 or 30 calls in a year when we were looking at the stats?
I thought it was a longer period of time than that.
Yeah, but it was not that many, but the main ones I remember when we first started discussing this was around the Kroger's area.
Yeah, I mean, personally, that's happened to me probably 3-4 times in the last, 5 years or something like that. So I just didn't know if you saw that
concentration, if there was a way or any reason to increase visibility.
The officers were aware of what was going on with Kroger's, and
Yeah.
we tried to step out there as often as we could.
Okay.
Now, there's part of this, the aggressive solicitation ordinance that Stephanie came up with, that actually talks about certain locations that you could not be within 50 feet of, like a bus station, any type of transportation deal, a ATM, a entrance or exit of a bank, check cashing business, public parking garage or parking lot pay station, or the service area and outdoor eating establishment. Those are in the aggressive panhandling ordinance that we had talked about.
But again, cities like San Antonio have those kinds of ordinances, and the last time we looked at this, those had not been litigated to know one way or another if they would withstand constitutional scrutiny.
So I heard from you that less is better. And go ahead, man.
No, you go right ahead. It's your item.
Well, you're saying it's all right now. Y'all are handling it.
No, sir, what I'm saying is that we have statutes in place that when the incident takes place, we have some laws already that can be used. Because we can't come up with a law that says you cannot ask. That's off the book, that's off the table. But if somebody, becomes pressing, gets assaultive, gets threatening or something like that, we already have something in place to deal with that.
I got that.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. I don't have any other questions.
I have no questions, but I'd say let's not rock this billboard. Leave it alone, I think. Mr. Plata, what is your feeling? It's your item, you tell me.
I get the feeling I'm being told to leave it alone.
Matt, you want to discuss further?
No.
Okay.
That's
All right. So item number 28 is my item, and I'd like to table that item for.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 29, I suppose we have to do, so convene into executive session pursuant to section 551.087 of Texas Government Code to discuss or deliberate regarding commercial or financial information that the governmental body has received from a business prospect that the governmental body seeks to have locate, stay or expand in or near the territory of the governmental body and with which the governmental body is conducting economic development negotiations, or to deliberate the offer of financial or other incentives to business prospects described by subdivision 1 as follows: GS Baking LLC Skinner Bakery Tax Abatement Agreement, Silgan Can Company, number B 551.071 of Texas Government Code, consultations with attorney to receive legal advice from city attorney about pending or contemplated litigation and or matters in which the duty of the attorney to his client under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct of State Bar of Texas clearly conflict with this chapter as follows: Paris Warehouse 107 Inc. Tax Abatement Agreement, B. Glick DBA Tri-State Iron and Metal versus City of Paris. Time is 8:07 p.m. and we'll go into executive session. 7 p.m. we're out of the executive session. There were a number of matters discussed in the executive session with reference to Silgan Can Company and JS Baking, and the city manager has been given directions to discuss these matters with them. Item number 29B with reference to Paris Warehouse 107 Tax Abatement Agreement. The tax abatement agreement was reviewed by the city attorney, and after reviewing it, it was felt that there were some degree of ambiguities in the contract, and after calculating the amounts from 2006, 2013 and 2012 tax abatement, it was felt that 2012 tax abatement should be given to Paris Warehouse 107, and after doing that, the calculation shows that the city owes Paris Warehouse 107 Inc. $13,564.93, and the city manager has been directed to give that money back to the company. With that said,
We should probably
I'm
make a
sorry.
motion on this.
Okay, I'll make a motion that.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? No. All right. Item number 13, I'm sorry, not 13.
No.
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 Thank you, but no.
Item 31, consider approve future events for city council. Resolution number 2004-081. Yes.
I want to remind everybody, I forgot to remind everybody, that we are doing a tree giveaway Saturday, to Keep Paris Beautiful at the courthouse parking lot. And it's free to people in Lamar County as well as citizens of Paris.
What kind of trees?
Red arch, Shumar oak, water hickory. There's a bunch of, read it in the paper. It's in the paper. I don't remember off, but hardwoods.
Okay. Item 32, we are going to.
So
wait.
moved.
Second, all in favor? All right, thank you, everyone.